Hold on to positive territory here, not succeeding at the moment. Back into the red we go, coming off a bit of a back and forth kind of a day yesterday, but lots to talk about once again today. We have a long list once again today, same as yesterday, of Fed speakers to come through. So keep an eye out for comments that could move the market from that standpoint. There are a few things moving around here early. LRCX, Lam Research, big move to the upside. Highly priced stock, almost $1,000. It's up to $981, announcing a split this morning. So another one of these very highly priced stocks going to split 10 to 1 for LRCX. I was just reading a note on Micron as well, not Unity, MU. My M on my keyboard is not working, Sharif, so I can't type MU. But yeah, Micron expecting higher CapEx spending, so downside a little bit here. Oh, there it is. Now it is working, so I can bring it up. There we go. So Micron, big flush there, down to 124. Ahead of, Nvidia on watch. Obviously, we had a bit of a sell-off on Nvidia when this came out as well this morning for NVDA. But Micron with the actual headline, higher CapEx expenditures expected there. So downside we go. For some of the semiconductors, long list of Fed speakers once again today. And they're all exactly the same as yesterday. So I don't know what 24 hours does, but apparently they have more to say.
I hope there's new questions. Otherwise, we're going to be hearing the same answers.
Exactly.
So, yeah, interesting stuff this morning. Brendo, crypto making a really big move. Ethereum up big yesterday, continuing that trend on. News that the spot ETF may actually get approved. That's completely counter to what I read yesterday, but who cares about that? Tesla also with issues with the fire, and Apple looking, counter back with the EU there.
Yeah, some of the equities related to crypto among the strongest yesterday across the board as far as the group is concerned. We touched on Mara late in the day there. Huge move to the upside, trying to bounce once again off basically where it ended the session this morning here in the pre-market, trying to get going back above 23. So we'll keep an eye on 71,000 once again for Bitcoin. And yeah, that Ethereum headline, as you mentioned. I mean, a ton of these little tiny stocks moving around once again this morning. MTC, there's that MMAT, Metamaterials once again, BDRX, to name a few. XPeng, up 7% on better than expected delivery numbers. We'll get into that as well. Macy's, Lowe's as well coming through with numbers this morning, kicking off some retail earnings, retail wrapping up, I guess, the final ones to come through over the next few days here. I've just seen Coinbase up 3.5% as well. So yeah, lots to touch on. Neil is back this morning. Good morning, guys.
Yo, what's going on? Welcome back.
And it's a blue kind of day today.
He's muted.
Oh, I was.
Yes.
Did you check as well?
Yeah, because he said I'm muted, but
Oh, okay.
Come
on,
being
man.
the professional that I am, I figured I wasn't muted.
I'm like, what's going on? No, yeah, welcome back. It's a blue day today. The market is trying to hold green, but come on, man. It's all about Ethereum. And today.
I mean, the Jays beat the powerful White Sox yesterday.
Don't even get me started.
Oh yeah, Frank's on today. We can talk to
could
Frank. I can talk to him about the White Sox and the Blue Jays.
I think the only team we can
powerhouses.
beat is the one team that is the worst in history this year. Big shout out to Ant and Minnesota Timberwolves. I didn't get a chance to say it.
Yeah,
Wow, those guys are unbelievable. But look, there's a heck of a lot to get to. In the pool of who's going to split next, I didn't have Lam at all. I think I had AVGO again. So it's going to be Lam that does it. Maybe it'll be Nvidia next. Maybe it'll be AVGO. Who knows? But the splits are coming in because the market just keeps going higher and higher, and you have these high-priced stocks. They got to do it at some point. Macy's going to be in play today because they reported a bit of a beat. Anything in crypto, anything and everything in crypto is going to be in play today. I mean, Ethereum certainly looking like it wants to make a challenge for that March high, which is getting pretty darn close. I got ETH up here today. We can trade this one here at Real Trading. There's also the, you can go to OTC markets as well if you want to have a look at that. And we're still a day away from Nvidia earnings, so a lot to get to. That Micron news kind of brought some of the chip names to the downside, but still looking, I don't know, Nvidia's pretty flat right now. Yeah, not really that big of a deal yet, but Micron was down a couple of points on it.
Yeah, yesterday, yeah, you missed it. Yesterday, we dropped the news live here. And this is where I bought Ethereum yesterday, live on the show. We went right over to ETHE, and we were long at $26, getting out near 29 at the end of the day. So we had this whole move yesterday up on Ethereum. And now today, you're up into 31 bucks. I think it continues to go. I like the space. We like the name. I'm going to watch it. I actually have it up now beside me. I have crypto. I'll have Bitcoin down here. And I was thinking about putting Ethereum here as well, and then I already have it up on another screen. So maybe I'll just do that. I'll put Ethereum up on another screen and get that going as well. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting. I want to trade that today. A little bit of Coinbase action could get going as well. I've got Tesla on my mind as I throw the sticky note. That should be fun. But look at Coinbase up another 4%. And then we had Michael Noss on last night, and we talked about Mara. We talked some crypto as well. We talked some bank names. But there goes Mara straight up to the upside there. Another 1.5% on what's been a nice move off some of that 15, 16 bottom. So far so good here. Ethereum 37.57 right now. CleanSpark, Riot, IBIT. I mean, the CleanSpark and Riot are miners, but IBIT is something else you could look at for sure. Oh, and what about how much is MSTR up today? Let me just have a quick look. Because last night we talked about this with Michael as well, and MSTR, of course, is very much a levered Bitcoin product. You've seen this name go from $1,000 just the beginning of the month up to $1,750. So a nice smooth 775. Yeah, I guess if that was $1,000, yeah, 75% up there in 3 weeks. 75% move up, guys, for MicroStrategy in 3 weeks. We're all long, of course.
Obviously.
Yeah.
MicroStrategy is at
I mean, I am. I don't know about you.
Wow.
One share? No.
Nope.
Zoom, another one downside here this morning. Here's the list, essentially, of everything. PANW, you were mentioning before we came on here this morning, mentioned Lowe's there, kicking off some of the retailers coming through. Urban Outfitters, another one as well, all reporting here. Zoom downside, forecast a little bit light for them, still 7.5% here on a monthly time frame. Here's the timeline for this morning. To be aware of. So it starts at 9 o'clock with Waller and Barkin. And then 9:05, we'll get Williams, Barr, 11:45, Loretta Mester again today. Twice, I believe. There's only one appearance on here, but I think she's actually speaking later in the day as well. Bostic later in the day as well, and then Collins to wrap things up, and a long list once again of comments.
There was too many comments yesterday, especially Mester, who really had an effect on the market midday yesterday. Like I joked at the top of the show, I really hope there are new questions and not the same thing being asked over and over. To build on Brendo's point, Zoom reported, we know it's a Cathie Wood favorite, this name. They did better on EPS and earnings than the street was expecting, but there were some red flags here, Brendo. Enterprise customers dropped aggressively here from 223,000 to 191. I mean, I don't know exactly how their business model is, but I assume that they rely heavily on corporate clients here, and that's not a good look. Also, guidance was a little bit late for this name, so keeping an eye on ZM.
Meanwhile, I have good news. CPI in this country downside just came out there at 8:30, 2.7% versus 2.9%. So a decent downtick in inflation for this country. 48% chance now, Bank of Canada, with a cut coming up in June. 48%.
I think a lot of people are going to need it. A lot of mortgages come and due, Brendo.
Yeah, so that's actually a decent downtick there. 2.7 versus 2.9, guys.
Well, it's great for us.
Yeah,
I mean,
but now we'll probably be the first ones to cut out of all the major banks, I would think.
Well, I mean, it seems like it. So I'm not going to complain about it. It's an election year, and everybody seems to want that to happen because.
Well, I think if Powell got that number, I think we would have probably bumped up our expectations.
I would tend to agree with that.
Let's wait to see.
But it's not good for Zoom. That's a segue to them. I don't know.
Remember that website you found where it was like, what was Cathie Wood's average price?
Oh,
we
shoot.
should look that up again.
Yeah, I could have had that one up. I'll try to find it because I think we were looking at some of the. I don't remember which was. It was Pacific Biosciences, I think, was the reason. It was in the news one day, And then we're like, oh, I wonder what the average price is at ARC for Pack B, and because it was like I don't know, Pack B is like $1 or something now, and it was like $19. So I don't know what
Zoom's actually not that bad on their daily.
No, it can't. Yeah, it's really not that bad.
Not that bad.
I mean, it's not that good.
No, but it's not Pack B or anything.
No, it's actually pretty. It's been pretty stable. That said, the downward trend has been pretty distinct. You could say it's making a bottom in the high 50s, low 60s. But what I see today is sort of simple. The 50 period was at $63 or is at $63. So you just kind of failed underneath that. You failed underneath resistance at 64, 65. As long as it holds underneath 63 at the open, I mean, if there's a relief rally that gets above there, forget it. But as long as it's under 63, that looks like a short to me. For Zoom, let it open up because the volume is not that big. Now, the larger picture would be for this one, hey, as a day trade, if it kind of moves down and fails 63 again, you can always get trade 63 to 61. Like, that's all great. But it isn't that bad looking in terms of support down here at 58, maybe even like the 59 level. So it's definitely a day trade situation. This is a stock that has been just going sideways off the lows. I don't know if it has any continuation in it. No gigantic moves, so you just got to trade it for the short term.
Yeah. So just some, it's not breaking news or anything. Maybe Micron is having some sort of a conference or something here. Micron executive expects more than half the PCs in the marketplace to be AI enabled by 2027. Sounds like good news to me. But right there, Micron down 3%. So we'll probably get to some of these names, but Micron's starting to head lower here today. If there's we talked about Lam, we talked about Nvidia a little bit, but for me, Micron, I mean, unless AMD is moving, and I just hadn't looked at that in the last couple seconds here. Down 3, I thought was, so down 3 is the worst. So right now, Micron starting to go lower. I think if you're going to pick a name here today in the chip space to look lower, yesterday we traded Nvidia long pretty much all day. I think all day, actually. I don't think we went short. But right now, I was just looking at 125 for Micron. So that was going to be a level anyways, and we're here in the pre-market. So this is a slippery slope here for these guys. I'm going to have to dig in a little bit more what's going on here with Micron, but down 3% and looking to get a little bit lower. Watch out for maybe 122 for some support, but anyways, I think we'll be sharpening our knives a little bit for the Micron short, especially if it continues going this way.
All right, a few other things to note here this morning. I just saw JP Morgan. Let's talk about it anyways, because we had that note yesterday. There was a little volume spike there. JP Morgan downside in a pretty big way yesterday. We had that note about Jamie Dimon coming through late in the day, suggesting that we're under the 5-year mark as far as his career is concerned. He's talking retirement, and there's succession type comments coming through. So, I mean, this thing was weak all day, right from the word go yesterday, but that definitely added to the pressure at the end of the day.
A lot of comments today from rating agencies. Brendo, Piper Sandler maintaining overweight on JP Morgan, raising the price target to 220. You also have Morgan Stanley chiming in on JP Morgan, raising the price target there to 214. So I don't think that they were really dissuaded. Barrett also maintaining a neutral and price target of 185. So I don't know how dissuading this was for the market, but definitely caught me by surprise.
I mean, there was rumors at one point earlier this year that he was even going to run for president. That kind of faded off pretty quickly. But yeah, under 5 years, maybe at the helm to go here, guys, for Jamie Dimon.
I'm not dissuaded too much about what
dissuaded
what that conference was all about there.
Is that the word of the day today?
I don't know. I heard him say it twice. I thought it was pretty cool.
Why not?
I like that. All right, already. All right. So the thing about JP Morgan is I don't actually think it has anything to do with Jamie. I mean, it probably has something to do with Jamie Dimon obviously mentioning that he's going to be leaving. But I think a succession plan, that's part of it. The thing about it, we're up today in JP Morgan considering the ES, so that's good. But it won't be for long. The thing is he also said, someone asked him why they're not buying back stock, and he just said it doesn't think it's the right time. So if Jamie Dimon is not buying his own stock, then should you? And I think that's the question. So he came out and said they don't have that buyback on. They're not adding to it. They're not adding any more share buybacks at this time, and they'd rather just invest in other opportunities, which is great. I mean, I think that's also a good thing. They also increased their dividend. I like JP Morgan here. I think at the 50-period moving average, it's probably worth a dip. I still own a little bit of this, but not that much. I told you where we got out. We got out way early, like into here, 140s, 150s. We were long, like in the 120s and then 80s back in COVID days. But either way, this name drops into 194, 195. I think there's some buying opportunities here. They missed on earnings, and that was bought all the way back up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 straight up days since the last time we touched the 50-period moving average. I'd say let it settle down, let the story just pan out. But for me, I'd have to be a buyer of this bank at some point. Good dividend, increased dividend. I don't know why he said that they're not having that buyback. So that was the problem. And
They're at the highs. I don't know.
Yeah, they're at the highs, and I think that's probably right. You know, so it doesn't scare me, but at the same time, maybe a little overvalued. I think it got to like 2.3 times book or something.
Yeah, it did. Well, I mean, it does usually trade a premium, but you know, like the 50 period at 94. I kind of like this. It's hard to draw a trend line when there aren't many dips on the stock. So there's really just two bottoms connecting this for the last trading year and change. That's the October low from 2023, and then you have like the April, like our recent April low here. And if you put that together, this gets into like the 190 range. I think like observing the trend line would be a great dip buy for JPM. There was just news. Someone just asked if Polestar is getting delisted. They got a delinquency notice.
What?
From the
Why?
NASDAQ.
It's not under $1?
Yeah, which is weird because they aren't trading underneath $1. But there is that piece of news out there. I just saw that. It doesn't mean it's imminently getting delisted. It is down 5%. So the company on Friday acknowledged the receipt of a delinquency deficiency notice from the NASDAQ. Currently on the bid, and I'm just throwing it out there because I guess it's trying to hold $1. There's like 6 million shares in a single order sitting on the bid at 103 on PSNY. So maybe someone wants to defend this thing. It's not a ton of volume, but like there's this like gigantic order. Just sort of, it's only done 2 million shares pre-market, so for someone to sit there for 6 million shares, maybe it'll be in play today. But it's been mostly a barcode. Maybe there's a $1 defend or a $1 break on PSNY. But
did you hear the sad news?
For
Red Lobster.
Oh yeah, the Red Lobster's going under. Yeah. I'm not a big Red Lobster fan.
I haven't been there in 10 years. I shouldn't be so surprised.
Oh no.
Oh, there's a Dara. Yeah.
Oh no. Wow.
You had many Red Lobsters in Winnipeg, Dara?
Yeah, but we have the one, but my friend and I go all the time to Toronto.
I don't know if they're. So you probably don't have your mic on, or maybe she does. But no, do they hear that?
I don't think so.
No, she said she goes in Winnipeg, and then also her friend and her go in Toronto. But I don't know if they're closing them all, or what.
Well,
Didn't you? Didn't they have those? They have those warm rolls in the. What are they called? Yeah, the biscuits. Yeah, risk it for the biscuit.
the cheddar biscuits.
And those things is hot fire. You know, we still have East Side Mario's. Like, doesn't East Side
Hold on
Mario's.
a second. Aren't you Italian?
No, I'm trying to think about the ones that have the unlimited.
Oh,
stuff.
okay. Oh yeah, the
East Side
unlimited.
Mario's
bread.
has like the bread and the salad, and I think they used to have the Italian wedding soup. Well, Mandarin's a buffet, bro. I'm talking about like, and then also Olive Garden. They give the unlimited
Olive
breadsticks.
Garden.
I think.
That's the one. I'm not a huge Olive Garden fan either.
No, we don't
but
go to Olive Garden.
they, You know what? There's
If I'm gonna go to Italian places,
you
it's like
haven't
local
seen
Italian.
you haven't seen the Boondocks.
No.
And so eventually you will get a chance to see the Boondocks, but they have a killer scene with
About Red Lobster?
It's about Red Lobster.
Yeah, of course it is.
Because basically, Granddad, he takes out his new girl. So the show is a granddad. And he has a 2-year-old
Right.
kid.
That's probably a nice date.
And he takes out his date to Red Lobster, and so the kids are like, "Yo, you taking her to Red Lobster with the cheddar biscuits?
Yeah.
The fam ain't
That's-
eating the cheddar biscuits,
that's-
but and he doesn't use that language.
Yeah.
But she's getting the cheddar biscuits. And anyway,
Cheddar biscuits, it seems like very high quality.
and it's not even that good. They're honestly, look.
Slow down, Neil. Slow down on that one.
I'm not happy they're going under, obviously, and there's no
Wow,
question.
cheddar
about that.
biscuits aren't that
I've
good.
just always felt that Red Lobster's overrated. That's just me. The seafood's not
They're
that
like
good.
the fast food of seafood, basically, right? I mean, it's dine in,
Yeah.
but You can get better seafood, I think.
Well, that's sort of.
Yeah, but where else can you get unlimited shrimp? Okay, here we go. Randy, pick up the mic. I have something to talk to you about. When you're ready.
Cheddar biscuits.
You heard the sad news about Red Lobster? You didn't? They're bankrupt. They're going under. What are you looking at? When's the last time you went to Red Lobster?
I've never been a fan, so I.
Oh, okay, okay.
Randy.
You know what? It's fast food. It's just,
Right, that's
it's
why I was
not-
calling. I said it's the fast food of seafood,
So
basically.
boo.who.
We were talking about the biscuits, the biscuits that you
Okay,
get.
you can buy them in a box.
Yeah, you can buy all these things in a box.
It's just fast food. It's not real. No, sorry.
Why?
I'm with you.
Polestar might be going bankrupt all of a sudden. Like I thought all these
No.
cars. I thought all these cars were going to work.
No.
You think
Denied.
they're not
He's
going
denying
to?
that.
It's well, no, they got a listing. They got a notice from Nasdaq. Stock's only $1.
Yeah, they're not. There's been no bankruptcy talk. Just whenever you get these listings, the people start to worry about stock price.
Yeah.
Let me see what is. You already looked up PSNY, right?
Yeah, 103.
Yeah, $1. Whoa! What the? Look at
That's
this
the
order.
guy.
Look at that order right there. 5 million shares.
Is that you?
6 million shares, Randy. Randy, sitting on the bid was 6 milli.
What's the float of this thing?
That's U.S. dollars. Are you
I know.
sure? Are you good? You're all right. The wife is okay with
It's
it.
coffee money.
No, the wife. I noticed you got the large coffee there.
Well,
All right, we better get this show back on the road. All right, thanks, Randy. We will
Coffee
see
time?
if you get. I'd love a
Yes,
coffee.
please.
And good luck on that order there at 103. I feel like you're going to pull it when the market opens.
He'll leave it.
You know that's live in the pre-market there, Randy. All right,
You know they report this week. Polestar reports 2 days from now.
but I was just
On
I
Thursday.
I know there's no talk about bankruptcy, but like honestly, that I feel like I'm seeing a lot of Polestars on the road,
I've seen a few.
right?
No, I've
like
seen a
what? So what's up with that then?
few. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Like you have a car company, the cars are on the road, and then they're all the way down to the downside.
Whoa!
Jesus,
Wow,
Ramin.
Ramin. They're garbage.
Wow,
he said.
Ramin.
Ramin is not a fan of Polestar. Let that be
Ouch.
known. Okay, let's go to the. let's go
All right. Well,
Ramin.
yeah, Ramin did not speak kindly. People can't hear what everyone's saying around.
I
They
know.
just see our stupid reactions. Yeah, not kindly of Polestar there. So, Adara, you like Polestar? Over to Adara.
Honestly, don't really have any opinions on Polestar, but a nice look for Disney here, getting this upgrade from Redbird Atlantic with a $100 price target. HP getting this upgrade from Barclays a week ahead of its earnings, so HPQ earnings on watch for next week. In addition to this upgrade today, Wix.com getting an Oppenheimer upgrade with a $200 price target after those earnings yesterday, and Pampa Energia getting an upgrade here from HSBC Securities. Raymond James kicking off the downgrade list with not one but two downgrades for entertainment-related names. You got Caesars and Penn getting downgrades, but they're both trading up on the day. We also have Toast getting this downgrade from Robert W. Baird, and Sonova with a Piper Sandler downgrade. Bit of a gap down for that one, guys.
Redburn a little bit notable there with Disney. They've made an earnings, well, okay, like we'll call it an earnings bottom because he had the wipeout event and then hold a higher low, but that got tested yesterday. It looks like 102.5. Had almost, like 102, let's call it. 102 to 102.5 looks like a good little support for Disney. When you get a volume bottom like this, an immediate recovery, that higher low tends to come into play. The bad news is it's taking the stairs to the downside, but the support at least is trying to hold again. It did for a bit at 104, and now it's trying to hold on to this 102.5 zone. So you're still in I think you're still in like the throes of making an attempted bottom. At some point, like one of these levels is going to hold up. For a day trade, though, that 102 looking pretty solid temporarily. I still love the 200 period on Disney. Back that 96, like that was a pretty key level going back to January. Not sure we have any chance to get there today, but the 102 is certainly in play this AM.
Yeah, I was. I'm still a little nervous for Randy's order here. I feel like it's going to get filled. All right, so we have a bunch of names to talk about. Like I was just writing out on the sticky note here, like a name like Macy's that hasn't been on there. I think there's some good opportunities there. I think there's a lot of good opportunities on that upgrades and downgrades list. Obviously, I like Disney on there as well. That could be a name that I trade. A name that I think has gotten beat up a little bit too much, and we've talked about this over and over again. I thought Starbucks really, they had a lot of I guess there was some protesting and people were pretty upset about some of the stuff that Starbucks, I guess, had really nothing to do with. But those shorts sort of got loaded up, and then they completely won on earnings when they got what they needed. And then the thing about this was, no matter what your opinion on Starbucks is, it fell into this level here again that many stocks have bounced off of, some of these sort of 2022 lows that came in. So Starbucks right there, just off its earnings. And again, I know we were talking about getting long down there. So now you're starting to get back up to 78 again with a couple nice days in there. We know that they have the management change. I think Starbucks has a good opportunity to make some of this back and even fill this gap back to 85. So that's a name that's going to be on my watch for any sort of dip buys. And then another name just in the same, not in the same space, but in retail space, Shopify. Another one that had obviously a big move down. And this name, however, is not recovering yet. So again, it needs to get, that's October, 47. I mean, it's nowhere near the lows that we were talking about for Starbucks, which would be over here. But I like the consolidation that's happening right here. So just a couple names on watch in case we get going. Shopify through $60, and then that Starbucks dip buying into 77, 76. But I really like Shopify here if it gets going. I'm just waiting for the day that they get the upgrade, and then they're or some sort of a note, and they're through 60. Then I think that you get back on the horse here with Shopify. So just a couple ideas there that I like. And I want to go short today on a few names, and we're going to get to some of the Chinese ADRs. Baba's not a name I'm going to go short on, but down 2%, I don't actually even really want to buy it here either. So I was really struggling because yesterday Baba was, again, one of my best trades again, just going long off the open. Not off the open, but on some of these dip buys. I think it was even breaking this 200 period we went long. It was a great trade there yesterday. I want to do it again, but I don't know. China's a little nervous, and it's on our watch list, JD, with the offering. Yeah. So, yeah.
The Chinese stocks are all pretty heavy right now, and generally speaking, buying dips on Baba has been a great trade, but a couple of them look a little bit heavy is the best word to use. JD specifically, I might trade JD today. I haven't in a long time, but just one quick thing. A lot of penny stocks have been running, so I get it. We'll be looking at things like that, like FFIE was, and then that RD something X, I believe, is making a run here. MGRX is making a bit of a run. But this Lyra, LYRI, is halted news pending. Just keep an eye on this one. Not really sure what the news is, and it's not going to be out yet. But this got destroyed recently to become a penny stock. So were it to have anything positive, you might see a little bit of if this could even gap halfway, back into this 50, 55. It gets pretty interesting if we open back up and it ends up being positive news. So halted news pending. It could open up anytime. That could be hours from now. It could open up tomorrow for all I know. But it's going to be on the radar, LYRI.
More safety. We were just talking about this Volvo tie-up with Polestar. I was just reading a couple of things on this. Apparently, it doesn't actually give a date, but in spring of 2024, Volvo was selling. So Volvo owned 48% of Polestar. And then in spring of this year, they were planning on doing a sale that would reduce their overall ownership down to 18%, with the primary benefactor being Geely of Sweden, which is the majority stakeholder in Volvo. So Volvo selling, it looks like, selling their stake from 48% down to 18%. Again, it doesn't give an actual date here, but I mean, they could have been in there selling on a daily basis almost. But I mean, you and I were just saying, there's tons of these things around here.
Oh yeah, a lot, and they're reasonably priced.
Yeah, and reasonably priced, reliable. I mean, it's a Volvo basically, so it's reliable, well made. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's a shame if they do struggle, but.
And I like the fact that they're maintaining operational connections with Volvo.
Yeah, that was one of the things in that note. It said manufacturing, research, development, sales, even all going to stay the same in the Volvo and Polestar tie-up. I want to talk about this real quick. GameStop and AMC. I mean, worth a watch here again today. Not really doing a heck of a lot. $22 trying to hold here for GME. We had this crazy run up into the close yesterday. Maybe some short covering. Who knows? But didn't really seem to be on anything specific. but all of these made that similar move into the close and then actually held it after the close yesterday.
Yeah, and it was a nice move, 9.8% for AMC, 4.2% at the high there for GameStop. Faraday, 75%. Don't forget about Faraday, FFIE. That'll be in focus today too. So we'll keep an eye out on both these, Brendo.
Yeah, but downside, I mean, what is it, 5% here for GameStop, about 3+ now for AMC. So decent volume behind them. But anyway, let's talk about the overall market here. Sharif's going to lead us off, as always, with a look at the futures.
53.31, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES June contract. We're on the way down right now, holding lows at 53.23. Let's see if this 53.25 holds after the open. We were able to hold on to it yesterday. At the highs yesterday, we were a smidge below 53.50. That is still the resistance level that I'm looking at.
All right, if you are looking for an absolutely free resource every single day, sign up for that. Go to the website, tradertv.live. You'll see that pop up. Enter your email address, and then it comes right to your inbox for you with everything you need to know in the pre-market every single day. Let's talk about crypto stocks, top of the list this morning. A couple of things to note. Bitcoin, 71,000 comes and goes. Trying to hold right now. We are coming off a little bit here, but most people talking about this Ethereum ETF approval and the possibility of that. So a lot of these getting bought up not only yesterday into the close as well, but here pre-market this morning once again.
Yeah, I'm all eyes on Ethereum here, Brendo. Up 11% at the highs today, up from 20% yesterday. Bitcoin obviously rallying above 70,000 as well, so that to keep an eye on. The SEC decision for the spot ETF. So there are a couple of applications that I have to tell you about. There is 2 applications. One is expected on Thursday, the other on Friday. So we could know as early as this week whether the spot ETF is going to get approved or not. So there is a first mover advantage here. I read an article earlier this week that said Gary Gensler was going to put the brakes on this, but now hearing the opposite.
I mean, he was saying that about the Bitcoin ETF too, but yeah, we all know how that played out. So we all know how that rally played out going into those approvals as well. So I mean, you guys were mentioning MicroStrategy, just monster moves across most of these the past few days.
Yeah, well, you know, the cost of yesterday missed out on trading. Can't complain too much about it, but Mara, obviously everything in crypto land basically went ham yesterday. So the fact that Mara ended up breaking that 21 on the daily chart should not be surprising to anybody. It was sort of how clean things were when it got through 21. Like it broke 21, got 21.5, pulled back, and then right in here where like 21.07 was like a local bottom, and it just continued like to 22.5. So like I like previous resistance turning into support. If there's a dip today, I mean, Mara is pretty much flat right now, as the market is now 0.3% to the downside. So the NASDAQ didn't just go red, like it's staying red. If we do get a dip, I'll look to that resistance as support on Mara at that 21 level. That's a trade that, you know, kind of would have liked to have had, and maybe we get a chance to retest it. The other one to look at, I mean, Coinbase is at a resistance spot right here. 50 period, 236 was this lower high. 242, I want to say, is the absolute top, where I think you could have a little bit of a fade. I mean, it's such a big rally over the expectation that you're going to get to an announcement this week. So, you know, we've seen the big rallies into it and then sell-offs when you get into resistance or into sell the actual news when it does come. So I might be anticipating that for things that are at the highs. But, you know, Mara, that 21, we liked it for a breakout, so I'll like it on the way back in for a dip buy.
All right, so yeah, yesterday we watched. Oh, I got to put Ethereum. I put it on the other board. It's 37.86 right now, starting to go. So yesterday we smashed this when we heard that. We just went right over to Ethereum. We hit this long, and we took $2 or $3, and it wound up being P&L #1 on the show, and that was in about 3 minutes. So that's the kind of explosive moves you could have here in crypto. We're going to wait to see where it opens up. But for right now, I mean, I really like the story with Ethereum. And I mean, even if you're going to look at some of the other names here today as well, a lot of the other coins starting to catch some wind. So, I mean, Solana was at 185. Now it's at 179, but coming down a little bit. But 7-day move, 22%, 30%, 15%. 11%, Cardano 15, Avalanche. So they're all starting to catch a little bit of wind. Dogecoin right there up to 16. So we talk about that a little bit. Shiba Inu 0.000000000002604 for Shiba Inu. So that's starting to go upside as well, up 10%. So as they go, a lot of this move is in the last 24 hours. Look at Ethereum, 22%. So, I mean, I think you might be a little late, obviously, to be jumping in and buying some of this right now, but who am I to say this is not going to stop? So we still have a nice move up. Brian Shannon nailed this with us last week when he talked about once this gets approved, there's going to be a huge move up in Ethereum and especially the trust. So there it goes. Congratulations to everybody that took that trade. It's ETHE to the rescue, and it's a huge upside move, up 10%, and I still think it goes. I just have to put that rate down here, which I'm going to right now. I'm going to put Ethereum here. So we got Bitcoin 71. Remember the high of Bitcoin 73 and change? That probably gets taken out today, honestly. I mean, $2,000 from here isn't the end of the world. I think we can get that. Imagine if Gensler does come out and actually says something positive. Then that will put some of that doubt out, and then we'll be able to rally back up to the north side. So I'll be watching it. I'll be trading it. We didn't have to pay for shorts yesterday. I'll check today. I think it's pretty liquid, so I don't think we'll need to. But Ethereum, ETHE, a great opportunity to trade over there on OTC markets.
Definitely. All right, let's talk PANW here in a second. I want to mention this. Robinhood just coming out with new interest rates for margin accounts, moving those down. So 5.7 to 6.7 on margin accounts for Robinhood, trying to get a few more people in the door. Gapping up here once again, we're basically at those highs, or we were at those highs early on this morning, coming off a little bit here. But yeah, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 6 days in a row here to the upside for Robinhood. There's PANW down more than 6% here. You made a good point in that companies in general, when it comes to cybersecurity, maybe diversifying, using more than one provider in the event that that single provider gets compromised. Yeah,
exactly. That's it. They don't want to put their money or bank too heavily on one provider, so they're diversifying their money. So a little bit with Zscaler, a little bit with PANW. So billings, guys, that's why we sold off here aggressively. Billings failed to impress investors. That is one metric that the CEO would rather you not look at. He wants you to look at revenue as well as user growth. So they beat on everything. They beat on the top line. They beat on the bottom line. Their guide was in line, but their billings missed. 2.33 billion. The street wanted 2.34, and you saw the result. So keep an eye out on this one.
Future's a little bit volatile here. Bostic and Waller making comments currently, so just keep an eye out.
Going to be one of those ear to the ground days for the Fed speakers pretty much all day long. PANW already bounced a little bit here, so only 6.5% down. It was a heck of a lot worse in the aftermarket. Well, I guess probably overstating it a bit. But when I came in this morning, I was thinking to myself, when I looked at the chart last night, okay, well, 288's a 50 period. The first time on the earnings, it bounced off the 200 period moving average, and we just recently bounced off to 50. I just want to be long 288 if we get down there. Proceeded to gap higher by like 10 bucks. So if we do get a dip, I got to look back at this 298 level first, and from there, if it bounced off 298, then I would look at the 288 level. It would have to go short sell restricted to get to 288 bucks in the 50-period moving average. But the last time when they reported earnings and it was a disappointment to the market, it got bought up off of those levels. You just had to be a little bit patient with it. Like there is your Huadong, it kind of double bottomed after that. So you could see something similar happen. So I mean, 288. Maybe we get there, maybe we don't. 298 would be the other level on watch. I don't love it as much as the 50 period on the daily for PANW.
Yeah, so again, we had this on the after show there. I think that's, cybersecurity is a thing, but we talked about what their PE was, still in the 52s or something like that range. I'll have to figure out what it is today, being down 6.65%, but still a pretty highly valued name there in the space. I mean, I feel like a lot of people are always talking about CrowdStrike. I mean, that's the fact that these guys, I think, IPO'd like $60 or something like that. CrowdStrike has just been a huge winner, continuously going higher. I wonder if it's time now that you just go over and you figure out that maybe the winner is CRWD. I mean, Palo Alto's still the winner, but hold on a second. CRWD, when did they report? Okay, right, so June. So we still get their report coming through soon, too, as well. So, I mean, this doesn't bode super well for CrowdStrike, but you can see they're only down 1% there into a pan that's down 7. So I think CrowdStrike, you buy this name on dips, big into cybersecurity, you know, a decent name there, doesn't have sort of the contracts that Palo Alto does, but definitely an up-and-comer. CrowdStrike, something to watch out for. I mean, it's been performing so well. I can zoom this back out. You're just going to see lower left to upper right. That's all you're going to see from this. So again, relatively new name, but not new in this space. New name to talk about on the show, I feel like, now that it's at $350. We haven't looked at this in a minute. I remember looking at this thing sub 100. Now it's at 350 and looking to take out highs. To me, a much better chart than PANW, not even close. So I like CrowdStrike, and I think that if you want to stay with the winners, which I try to do in my account, it might be time to flip over.
All right, Macy's up next here. As we mentioned, there was a couple of retail names coming through this morning, kicking off earnings in the group. To the upside, we go for Macy's. It's worth saying, I mean, these stocks used to be a little bit volatile. This is a 68-cent move currently on earnings for Macy's, so not much to see here.
No, look, they missed on the top line, but they beat on the bottom line. So revenue missed, but earnings came better than expected. 27 cents a share. The street was looking for 15. I'll give you guys the summary. Their higher-end department stores, Bloomingdale's and Blue Mercury, continue to outperform. Those are where the margin products are. Macy's stores continue to underperform, so much so that they're going to close about 150 of these stores by early 2027, a 25% reduction in their brick and mortar.
Yeah, we were talking to Michael Noss, if anyone was with us yesterday, about relative volume. I mean, barely 2 right now for Macy's. About to cross the 1 million share mark here, guys.
I think like that's the bigger stain on it than anything else. It's the volume that would be the problem to a potential break for Macy's. We've seen this pattern before on retail names specifically, where you initially come up with a report, you have a move to the downside, it then immediately recovers, maybe you trapped a few people down there, and then you sort of break out the top. So I like the setup. That top is like $20.10 on a 15-minute chart. On the daily chart, it looks pretty solid as well. I mean, the 50 period's at 19.5, so you have some support in there for a break and even a dip trade. Just need to see it open up and do decent amount of volume off the open to take out that high. But it's only 6% short float. That said, it's still pretty appealing to take a shot here, because if it breaks 10s, you can be long like 11, 12, 13. Like, you're not going to get slipped that bad. It gets back underneath 20. For me, I would just probably get out and then look for a bounce off the 50 period at that point. So Macy's is on my radar. I feel like we only ever trade this on earnings, and it's definitely worked a couple of times where you get that false bottom and then a top break on Macy's, and it can just start to go trending all day long. For long term, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan. They have done a pretty decent turnaround. Obviously, managed to do some cost cutting, which has been good for them, and short up their position. So they are doing okay. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this one in the long term. It's just more of a breakout trade for me today.
Yeah, so I actually still looking at Macy's, but sort of the other way. I was looking for the dip. So right here, I am feeling a bit bearish today on the sticky note. But if you're looking right here, I just wrote down Macy's. I'm trying to keep the sticky note very, very simple now. Long, EPS beat and guide, dip buys into 1950. But the thing is, when I wrote this down, we had already sort of made that move into 1950 afterwards. So we had talked about this here at 19. This is when I was looking at it, and I thought a dip buy into 1950. Why 1950? Because that was sort of where we had stopped 2 days ago, in and around 1950. Then yesterday's high was 1950. So I thought a dip back into this area would be something that would be bought. So we were right, almost to the penny. Unfortunately, we don't have the order sitting there on an earnings stock in the pre-market. So we missed that 1950 dip buy. But we wrote it down before this. So that's giving me a little more confidence that there's something there. I don't necessarily want to put a bid there yet. Let me see how Macy's works once it opens up. But again, EPS beat, got nice guide. Plus there's the takeover. There's always, the retail side of Macy's as well. I like the stock here. It's been doing absolutely nothing for 6 months. So I like Macy's here. I think it finally breaks out and maybe finally gets bought. Let's see what happens here. Macy's with a nice move back over 20. Yes. So the 20 break, I think it's a good one. but you got to be patient. This is a New York name, so let me just double check here before we go back. Is there any Macy's love on here? There's a Hims and Hers right there. We had Hims and Hers. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Fabian. We had them yesterday with the big move. Nice move again today, up 1. Alibaba with a sell. We sort of talked about that. But yeah, no Macy's on board here on, what the heck is WIT? None of that on board right now. Square with a sell. Interesting. Okay. Let's go back to the desk and talk about XPEV.
Yeah, Nvidia just making a move downside. It looks like on that note, Amazon going to halt orders of this super chip from Nvidia. So we got that note on Micron earlier regarding a higher capex, but Nvidia making a pretty nasty move downside here on this. Again, Amazon going to halt orders for Nvidia's quote-unquote super chip ahead of more options, I guess, coming.
Yeah, the Blackwell. Everybody wants that Blackwell, so we'll have to keep an eye on that.
I mean, it's only 0.5% in the red now, but worth keeping an eye on here for Nvidia. Let's talk about XPeng to the upside, meanwhile. For XPeng, better than expected delivery numbers coming through here. I mean, it's been quite a volatile couple of days here for XPeng. If you remember, we were talking about some of these yesterday. All gap to the upside and then just immediately faded. That gap ends the day basically where it was on Friday.
This really caught my attention. First quarter sales growth year over year on the quarter, 62.3% they were able to grow. That's a fantastic look. The guide also not a bad look for Q2 there, for Q3, excuse me, 29 to 32,000 vehicles. That'll be up 25 to about 38% year over year if they hit the high end of that. Beating on the top and bottom line, still not profitable, still running at a loss, but a good look here, up nicely on the day.
Yeah, I mean, volume-wise, yeah, it's not bad. 1.3 million so far for XPeng, but some of the other ones moving around here on this as well.
Look, Li Auto got smoked yesterday, but when looking at that one, we were talking about this with Sharif, Li Auto is at like a major trend support, and it'll be short sell restricted today. So I actually thought you stay away from shorting that one for that reason. XPeng holding that nice little 50 period in here and above 850 was a consolidation higher, which is a good look on the chart. The trend has not broken the downward trend just yet, but you make one higher low. I just feel like this needs to get through 950 as opposed to just holding on to some kind of a dip buy in there today. Like that would be like the 850 level would be the one. If it holds on to that, you can rally. But I get more excited about this if it breaks the 950 level on XPeng. I just feel like that would be a little bit more juicy. We had mentioned JD was down on that note offering, and that was the weak one, looking a little bit heavy on JD.com. And it was a very, very good run for them recently. So you feel something getting a little bit top heavy like a JD. I feel like this is the one that I'm more likely to trade. It's pretty much at a key level. Let's go back to the 15-minute chart. You can sort of see it a little bit better. Pretty much at that key level bottom at about 32.5 in here. If it gets taken down, I could see this one starting to fall pretty heavily as well. But yeah, I don't know if I'll be trading any XPEV today. The 850 looks okay, but I was thinking chip. I was actually thinking AMD short on my note, and now all of a sudden you get the bad news on Micron and Nvidia. So I'm still thinking chip names to the south side. I just might have to change and look at another one other than just AMD.
I said to Ramin or Fabian, whoever was doing the after show yesterday, because we talked about this with Michael Noss, and I said the one thing that's going to. Oh, by the way, I know I was just funny because someone posted this on the sticky note. Let's get that money, Steve. I'm not even sure what that's from, but I thought this stuff.
That's SNL.
I know that's SNL, but I thought that was just funny. I actually like her. I forget what her name is. Ali Kemper? Ellie Kemper, yeah, she's nice. So I like that name, Ellie. There's a girl on our baseball team, Ellie. All right, so anyways, yeah, Nvidia is starting to head to the downside. It'll be a chip bonanza today. Nvidia yesterday, we had an $8 winner right there at 940, boom, right off the open. Today, you got to look the other way, right? And what I was getting at was in the market recap show yesterday with Michael Noss, I said, what's going to happen when Nvidia comes out and talks about demand for their chips moving forward? And it's not there. And that's when it was boom to the downside, because the thing is that these Blackwell chips, sure, they're great, but a lot of these companies like an Amazon, by the way, bye-bye, honestly, bye-bye Nvidia for a while. You don't have to look at that now for a while. Do not go long Nvidia for a minute, I'll tell you why. But Amazon now getting away, and the part of the problem is they've already invested hundreds of millions of billions of trillions of dollars in all of, not just Amazon, all the companies, right, have invested already in a lot of these H100 chips. This is what I'm thinking. I didn't read the story. I don't even see it on the thing yet. I'm just talking just what to expect potentially from Nvidia. So the thing is, sure, they have all these new chips. Sure, they're great and they're the best thing ever. But are some of these companies like Amazon, like everybody that's out there, Llama, Face Meta, there it is right there, are they ready now to invest in these newer chips for whatever they're working on as a build out, right? And so I think that those chips are going to be for the future for sure. But at the end of the day, I don't know if the market's ready for, you know, an outsized beat and a guide forward from Nvidia's Blackwell chips, because if the demand's not going to be there, then you know, it's like if you just bought a new car a year ago and you're super happy with it and you're building on it and, you know, blah, 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 there's not necessarily the necessity to go get that Hemi. You know what I'm saying, Randy? So I don't know. Let's see what happens here.
It can provide a dip opportunity in a couple of quarters, though, because you know if things get pushed out and we do get that dip, then you get a bit of a buy opportunity. But I'm kind of, you know, I don't disagree with that at all. I think this could just be one chink in the armor before.
Yeah, it could be nothing. It could be nothing at all.
It's a little frustrating to see a dip like this, though, because now you're down 1.3% already. It was a pretty big high up there in the mid 950s that would have been in play that we like. We'll have to find some.
We were already feeling bearish.
Yeah, I liked AMD. I still like AMD. I can probably go to that one still, but Nvidia's at levels now. Like, what are you going to do? Let's get to the desk with Brendan.
Bye.
Brought to you by VinFast. Attention, electric vehicle enthusiasts. VinFast has teamed up with automotive giant Bosch to give you access to a massive network of 700,000 charging points across 30 European countries. That's right. With its partnership, you can now embark on epic European road trips with confidence, knowing you'll always have a charging station nearby. The VinFast app and in-car system will make locating, charging, and paying Bosch's vast network a breeze. Plus, you'll stay ahead with the latest charging tech and top-notch customer support. Get ready to conquer Europe in your VinFast EV like never before. Yeah, I mean, the guys just covered it here. We're trying to bounce right now off that 930, 935. I mean, it's one and change percent here, but yeah, if you missed it. Amazon going to delay purchases. I mean, you just made a good point. We were just talking off camera there in that they're not canceling the orders, they're just delaying them.
Yeah, here's what the headline reads vis-a-vis the Financial Times, that they are pausing the purchase of their most advanced chip, which we know is the H100, for their new chip that Jensen released a few months ago, which is called Blackwell. And a quick internet search will show you that it's rumored that Blackwell will launch in Q4 of this year. So like you said, Brendel, kicking the can down the road in terms of revenue. So tough look.
From that point, yeah, it's a question mark. We are holding that gap level so far, guys, here for Nvidia.
It's a pretty big gap level because Friday's bottom was like 917, 908, 918 was the Friday low. So it's a pretty sizable gap. If it does pop back into the upside, you got a couple of ways to look at it. There's 946, and then in here like 940 to 942. Those two levels on any kind of a pop. I think I'd be looking for some fades in there. And that's even if it happens. We're continuing to fall here with still a bunch of time to go. We still have 7 minutes to go. But like, I liked AMD because this was just riding the 50 period and stalling out at the 50 period on the daily. And I figured, okay, well, if this stalls here and does a rollover, that one's set up pretty well. It's down 1%. Suddenly you can throw out shorting the tops, unless there's a miracle $5 rally on AMD I don't know about. Previous close 166, so short back into that, giving it to the Friday. Check that. Yesterday's afternoon consolidation level. This is like 167. So that's where I'd be shorting, maybe even back into 165. I'm just going to be shorting the pops over here. I was going to look at ARM as well, but ARM might need to actually break the 108. I would have thought 112. Again, before that news happened and the chips were rolling over, I think you had a pretty defined 112 short opportunity on ARM. Now you needed to almost break that local bottom. AMD for sure, though. I'm going to be shorting pops into that 165, 166 half as previous close as well. So yeah, just got to be patient. This news has definitely taken all the chips to the downside. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to read and adapt, right? Like just because you make a plan of action at 8 o'clock doesn't mean the market's going to do nothing until 9:30.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like yesterday we were trading like 100 share lots or whatever on Nvidia. Today, I just think you can still look at it, but I would just lower the default because it's going to be hard, in my opinion, to find a level that you're going to like. Because this name, even yesterday, even when we punched, whoopsies on the wrong handle here. Even when we punched this 940 long, it did go against us like $1.50, $2, right? And that was like on nothing yesterday. That was just a move to the high side. Now you've actually got news, so you have to start to be careful with Nvidia. So that's just the whole thing. Watch out. I think a run back into this level, 940, 942 is something. But all you want to do, in my opinion, today is play momentum because it's going to be really hard to play off technical levels because the story's changed, in my opinion, now. We'll wait to see. I feel like there's more to this, obviously. The imbalance is just hit right now. So let's have a quick look to see if there is a big sell. There's an we wrote down on here, which is, again, way before the story, Amazon sell. But, like, what else am I supposed to do? I'm writing the sticky note up here at 8:30, 8 o'clock, when we're at 183, 183.50, I write down 184 on here, and then all of a sudden the tank happens, and I write down bearish in the market, this happens. So we have to wait for a little bit of a pullback in some of these names. So I'm a little disappointed of where Amazon's going now because I really do not like the weakness in this name over the last couple days. Although we're coming back into the 50-period moving average, I think this is a great opportunity to buy the name. For the long term, if we dip into like 170-ish, I think that's great. But at the same time, for a day trader, play the momentum in the trend right now. I mean, the market's down 0.3 and Amazon down 0.7 right now, starting to go lower. So I really like Amazon short. Unfortunately, my order's pending right now, 184. I won't get that. In Tesla, I like the Tesla short there, and I like Uber short to start the day. So a couple good opportunities. We'll talk about Uber, Tesla, all of that when we get back from the desk with Sharif.
Guys, we're talking about the measured move all week, and Adair and I on how to trade. Today, we're going to narrow it down by identifying intraday trends with true range and average true range. Catch that with her and I at 11.
Quick note, there was that halted penny stock, LYRA. I saw in the chat someone mentioning that the news is out. It is that they are Lyra Therapeutics announcing cost-cutting measures to preserve capital, and they're laying off 75% of their workforce. It's a news halt. I have not seen yet a resumption time, but I'll just double check. Oh no, it looks like they have, yeah, they just put it up now. So this will open up 15 minutes after the open. 9:45 is a resumption time on this penny stock. Cost-cutting measures, there's always a chance that you could go to the upside and squeeze. Nothing really on the tap's going to tell us much at this point. There was a name that in the big cap space that I'm still kind of bullish on. Apple's up into a down market. It held on to, yesterday in the afternoon, it held on to this resistance level, 190.75, as a support. So I like that for some dip buys on Apple. As long as it can hold on to 190.5, I'm going to go for longs on Apple. And, you know, sometimes we've seen this where the chips go down and then you get something like Apple, which had been beaten up and is a little bit more stable, will get to the upside even when the market is going to said downside. So you got about 2 minutes to go here. I feel like we did we say a word about GME? No. Well, okay, maybe Brendan did, but I don't recall going over it. There was a move like late in the day off of $20.50. So if it gets anywhere near that price, you know, I would think off of that 20.5 would be a place to look for a bit of a long. But Apple looks still strong despite this move to the downside. Looking to short pops in AMD. Macy's, maybe it breaks out, but it's looking like it's a little far away from that breakout price.
I'm going to just put a small position on right here because for some reason Tesla just bumped up and this is into the level that I like right now. It's only a couple minutes now until open, but we'll short Tesla right here. I do have that one on the sticky note as well. What's up? Oh, there it is. Yeah, thanks, Fabian. So we have GME written down here, long 20, so that's on here as well. Good luck with that. Right there. So we are short now. We are going to try to get some more short on Tesla. And again, maybe we're wrong on this one. It was more negative than the market, and now you're getting a bump up there for Tesla. So we're going to be very careful about a 176 out. like if this rips through 176, then we gone on that one. We'll wait. We'll give it a little more, like 176, maybe 50 or something, because it's right off the open here. But let's watch out for Tesla with only 30 seconds to go. It looks like we're about to get into more shares here on TSLA. So be careful with this one as we're almost open here, guys.
Yep, 30 seconds to go until market open. We got a bunch of Fed speakers today. Obviously, you just had that news, Amazon and Nvidia pushing back some of their chip orders. So Nvidia is still trading to the downside, 1.25%. We're going to have hopefully some activity in some of Macy's and maybe some Palo Alto as well. I think they were both down on their earnings. But ring it in 3, 2, and 1. Let's go, Adara.
All right, so we're going to watch out for Tesla. Obviously, we're in Tesla right there. And Tesla, of course, immediately tanks. So we just loaded up at, not loaded up, but we got some there at 175.50. So it's already 50 cents in the money. Here goes Tesla now, 50 cents, trying to get it out, but we're going to let this market just settle down. I am bidding 174.55 to see if we can make a little bit of a dollar on that one. And here it comes right back up. So watch out for the market. That one's moving around here as well. The big name that everyone's going to probably want to know about is going to be Nvidia. So right now, Nvidia's just dancing around here. Like I said, maybe lower your share size a little bit if you're uncomfortable with trading it, but watch out for Nvidia. 940 psychological level could be something. All right, well, we're into Tesla now. We got sort of what we thought we would get here as we saw it getting a little more aggressive. So remember our stopping spots and what we're looking at here for Tesla. So 176.50 is where we're going to get out. So we need to let this name come down a little bit if we're going to actually trade this properly. So there's a fill, there's 50, we just took a piece out there as now it's trying to get going. Pretty violent off the open here for Tesla, it seems like anyways. Maybe there's news that I missed about TSLA.
I didn't. There
was that corporate governance. Which
right, but I didn't see anything specific.
They must like it.
On Tesla, outside of that whole, the same nonsense back and forth. AMD trying to pop up. Look, I want to fade AMD. The first look will be 165 even, and then the 166. It's actually 166.33. I said 166 half. I got a dip by an Apple. It just bounced off 190.90. And got some back on the way above that 191. But I am looking to fade into AMD here. Just going to be a little bit patient. Don't want to jump out in front too early here. XPeng apparently is making some power moves, so we'll have a look at that one. I thought I'd be trading some JD, not XPeng.
All right, so unfortunately, Tesla goes 0 for 1 there as it just keeps ripping. It just rip. We said we'd be careful about getting out of it. This is why we were short at 176. So we only took that 50-cent hit, but still sucks. We're short Amazon right now. What's up, Adara?
Yeah, I'm still not seeing any news on this Tesla, but just to contextualize what's going on with the shareholder group. So basically, a group of shareholders, or group representing shareholders, including the New York Comptroller's office, basically saying that they're urging shareholders to vote against the ratification of the Elon Musk $56 billion pay package, and also saying that they're against voting in James Murdoch, Elon Musk, and Campbell Musk. So just some shareholder-related news from earlier. Not seeing anything new on that, though, guys.
All right.
Yeah, again, that's, I guess, the same as before, so nothing too crazy there for them. AMD just popped and tagged 165 exactly again. So off the open, it just tagged 165 even. On the way back down, I was able to get 78s. I'm going to try and reload closer to 165 this time. We're just shorting pops over in AMD. Just took some out 164.40 as Apple is making a bit of a bounce here off of that 191. Cannot seem to break. Or VWAP, it's a little too early to care too much about VWAP, but can't seem to break too far away from these quarters. I'm going to get some out here in the 30s and then look to reload if we can. Nvidia, if you're checking out Nvidia, huge huge candle volume, obviously, but it's still in the middle of the range here at the open, or the bottom of the range, I should say, as it checks out at the bottom. So as long as that's continuing to be weak, we like AMD to the south side.
Okay, I mean, Amazon, so we just went over to our sticky note again, and we shorted Amazon, and now it's an absolute monster. We're short at 180, 183, so good short there. AMD, Apple, we traded Apple yesterday, interesting name as well. Watch out for Amazon. We just touched down to 181. I mean, I didn't think we'd get that low, but we are. So right now, we're going to be green here, despite losing on Tesla. Look at Tesla, good out, man. Wow, 178. Talk about, like, misreading that corporate governance stuff. Nice move up to the upside into 179 now. Goes Tesla. Normally I'd be like, I got to short this thing, but wow, huge move up. And if you're looking for a 20-period dance, I mean, 179, 180 maybe for the top, but I'm staying away from this name and just going to watch out for Amazon here as that's starting to go to the downside. Nvidia's going which way?
Up.
Up. Okay, so AMD, watch out for that. Uber going downside as well. What's up, Adara?
Really nice look for Eli Lilly here right off the open. This nice pop here with decent volume. 2 catalysts coming in for this one earlier today. So we also, first we have that more than half of the patients treated with their Crohn's disease treatment did see clinical remission at 1 year. Also worth noting, they did get some diabetes drug approval in China. So nice look as well for Ellen, guys.
I like Lilly.
Yeah, I like Lilly too.
No, we like Eli Lilly. Just very quickly, AMD came right back into 165, wicked the top. So I jumped back in on the way down, got some at 88, so 78 and then 88, came back into the 50s, scalped some out again, but Nvidia is starting to fly. I don't know if I want this a third time if Nvidia continues this power move. I need to see this fading a little bit, and then we'd go a third time over in AMD. Just checking back in, Apple's holding 191.5, so that's looking like it's going to be strong. Maybe a bounce off of VWAP will be next for Apple. So we still like that long in Apple. I did want to double check on XPeng for everybody. I'm still just in the 2 names. No break on, Mara didn't get 21s the downside. No break on Macy's. That's nowhere near 21 either. But XPeng now 13% to the upside and continuing to rally. This one looks like it is off to the races.
Yeah, right now, so we're long Macy's, but just for a minute, if this breaks back down below, basically, I thought it was 40. What did I put in here? 34s. So we're only long right here at 54, all good. We did get a reload in a name here on Amazon, so we just punched some 75s. Look at the market. I'm debating going short the market, which means I got to get something out here on Macy's because that started to blast back up just a little bit here. Not blast back up, but we'll take a little bit out there at 52 as it goes a little bit higher. Let me get some more out, 55, 56 if we can get up there. And then that high of Macy's, like, what is that, 70 there? That we're looking, there's a nice move. We just got 58s there. So here it comes right back up to the upside now with Macy's starting to go off that bottom. So we'll see if we can hold this one. Like the trade, but it almost stopped us out there breaking through. So we're waiting for 35s out. So we'll take that at the 200 period right now, just making flat on this. So in, out. So a little bit of money there, but nothing really. We're waiting now, as Neil was mentioning, Nvidia. Maybe Amazon is not the short that we thought, but we did cover a little bit more. We got some out there, so it's all good. But right now, Amazon's starting to get back up to the upside, so we got to watch out. I put 82.50 as out of 75% of this. So if Amazon keeps on going and this market wants to come back, then so be it. We don't want our bearish sort of bias to hit us all day. So we'll stay in this right now, short at 181.90.
Chips just made another fresh low. AMD continues.
Chips did?
It's crazy. AMD just took out the bottoms, and Nvidia just dropped $7 in a single candle. But this market's still bouncing a little bit here. I'm just going to get a trail. I like to go station to station. If we regain that top, I'm going to jump out. But you're now starting to get down into, like, 162.5 is going to be my out. At the end of the day on AMD. Always wanted to make sure we play station to station, so that is going to be the out. Apple is still holding pretty well, but no breakout of the top just yet. No opportunity to dip by that 191 either. Rob EV, FFIE is not yet at $1, but if it gets there, then I will be all over it. This stock is barely moving, but it's down 23% FFIE. It's closed above $1 a couple times. It does another time. I'm looking for that bounce off of the $1 level. It's just nowhere near it. So AMD just wicked the bottom. So I put my trail in. Nvidia's still making higher lows. That's most of the reason. So we'll get out, take the buck, but AMD and Nvidia a little bit different. I just don't like the fact that Nvidia is putting in higher lows here. So as long as that's looking relatively strong off the open, I'm going to take the money and run on AMD. Adara.
We have another pharmaceutical-related name here, MGRX, up over 140%. Mango Pharmaceuticals is the name of the company, set to introduce oral semaglutide and tirzepatide. So this is the same kind of diabetes-related treatments that we have from companies like Eli Lilly, basically just to respond to patient demand for GLP-1 medications. So introducing oral GLP-1 medications here, MGRX up over 140% penny stock, guys.
Penny stock. Okay, well, I'll wait to get some approval on that one. We don't have to get too much approval for this, so we'll just go down. John Travolta's like, I still shop at Macy's. There it is right there. So nice little move from 1950 all the way up here to 1980 and still trying to go. It's Macy's on my mind right now, and that was another sticky note name there with Macy's at 1950. So it came right into our level. We took it, now we wait. Amazon really got us feeling some kind of ways there because eventually it broke higher, and we got out of some of it. We bought some more back as well, as that's the 50-period moving average. So I wanted to get out. It's a good thing we got out of Tesla. Tesla's now coming back, though, a little bit. Let's see if Amazon can do the same damn thing and get a little bit lower. There's Tesla fading off 179. We actually indicated that that could have been a level, and that was exactly the level. It stopped almost on the dime, 178.75, and now pulling back in. I like Amazon. Here comes Amazon. Pound the alarm right now as Amazon starting to get down to the downside a little bit here. So let's wait to see, not fruit salad, let's wait to see what happens with Amazon trying to break down below 182 right now. So far so good, but we'll wait. It's only 940. Macy's and Amazon on my mind here. As Ethereum, I put it down here right now, 3,800. Ethereum starting to go as well. So a lot of opportunities here today. Crypto space, Neil, chip names that you're hitting there.
Yeah,
Mara's dying or
no.
rip?
Mara just made a huge bounce. It looked like it was going to fail down underneath 22 and just made a big bounce. I do like the longs in Mara. I'm going to get there in a quick second. I'm trying to reload AMD over this view up here at 165, and we just failed back under. So I'm going to stake with the 165 level for AMD. But Mara's starting to look very strong. There's your liquidity grab at the open underneath 22. I think you've probably trapped some shorts in here on Mara. If it can hold VWAP or take out that top. I don't know if we get the 21s anymore. I might have to stick a fork in the 21 idea to the long side. Look for it to hold VWAP and then go from there. Apple still chilling at the highs. That's a relatively strong name and continues to be. And then for those that are still looking at GME, it is still falling. Remember, it had that big move in the afternoon off 20.5. So if it gets down there, that looks spicy. It's down 8%, heading for 10.
All right, we're ringing Reggie again here on Amazon as it's come right back in. This is going to be, obviously, we only have 2 trades. Well, we have 3 trades today. Macy's, Tesla. Macy's is a win. Tesla, well, Macy's coming back in a little bit here. Tesla is an L. We talked about that. And then Amazon, big one. And then we just have a brand new position, which is winning right now. But who knows for how long. It is Google. Let's put something on the bid. We're short at 86 right now. Decent little spot. Okay, there it is, 64s. Yes, sir. Spin the money right now for Google to the downside. So there it is right now. A nice move, man. 30 plus cents in the money now for Google. And we have our first dollar club for me right now. There it is. It's Amazon. Nice move to the downside on Amazon. Dollar club winner right there. As we just stick with our sticky note there, try to stay short there on Amazon. We did get stopped out at the 50 period, but hammering it back in. Good trade there for AMZN. And then Google, we just got some out there ahead of that 50 period at 60. But let's put a little bit more in there and just see what's going on. Neil, that ETHE, I don't know if you're looking at anything else crypto, but
Mara, just Mara.
Straight up, no slowing down ETHE today. So there it goes, man. Congratulations. Good win on that one. We're really happy with our performance so far here today, but could always get more. Lots to come here yet.
Yeah, it's so just
Google.
hearing some news on Schwab there. We're gonna go to it there in a quick second.
reload.
I got the third reload on AMD off the 165 level, 164.89. Scalp's not in front of VWAP. Looks like we're headed right back into the bottoms. Adara, what do you have for us?
Yeah, expecting to staying really strong here at highs of days, breaking decisively above that $10 level, up right now over 22%. Again, they beat earnings, so this one, yeah, we saw this earlier today. They did beat earnings, but nice pop here right off the open for SPEV. No signs of stopping, guys.
Nope, no signs whatsoever just yet. Mara, still like it. It's trying to hold VWAP. Looks like it could be okay for now, but eyes are on AMD for me. You got the wipeout bottom. Made that fresh low, but as I said, you're still getting some higher lows on Nvidia. Like a lot of this was Nvidia, higher lows into a potential breakout. So if we continue this pattern and break out the top, then we just got to get out of AMD. It's been solid pretty much off that 165 every single time, but you're getting a little bit of a difference between what's happening in AMD and Nvidia. And Nvidia was supposed to be the weak one. It's AMD down 1.4 into Nvidia's 1%. Apple's still holding off those highs, and here comes the dip opportunity, I think, in Mara off of 22 even. So I want to make sure we get one shot at least at that Mara long.
All right, we probably took out, not probably, we did take out way too much Amazon. Amazon is now $1.50 in the money off that top, off the 50-period moving average. So a couple good ideas here for us today. As you can see, good coverage there about the chip names there, because it is kind of strange to see that one's moving and the one that with the good news there, or the bad news, sort of starting to hold when AMD going the other way. And we've talked about AMD not looking like the other. I mean, AMD is well off of its highs. I mean, its highs of 220, 230, depending on what day you woke up there. I guess it was 227, but that was only one day. Let's just say like 220, 215 into that area there. You went all the way down to 140. I mean, you got chopped off 35%. On AMD. So definitely they're not, Street not liking AMD as much as Nvidia, that's for sure. So negative story in the chip space about Amazon, not possibly, I think that was, right? The cancellation or delay of some of that purchase order. So yeah, you're seeing some movement to the downside now, and it does look like, although they're both kind of chilling, we indicated MU before for a name to look at down there at 125. It really hasn't done much off 125. It has a dollar range, so not super interested. But oh damn,
ARM is at the
guys? We are doing some. Look at Google. We are putting damage on the names here today. Like I don't know what Google was just all about right there, but we just tanked pretty good now. We're $1.50 in the money, and now it's coming back. We're $1.50 in the money there on Amazon, looking for a break of 181 and just trying to hold. And then for long idea, Macy's. So we'll take the L on Tesla right now, and for good reason, man. I mean, like that's an L I'll take all day long, getting out there for 50 or 60 cents, whatever that it was. And now up to 179. Congrats on that one. But right now, let's see if Amazon can get a little spicier down here, breaking through 181. I think there's more pain to come on Amazon, unfortunately, a name that I like.
Yeah, look, I still like Amazon. When you're trading. You know, they're not going to go in the same direction every single time, and you have to be able to short stocks in your long term. Otherwise, you can't be a day trader, as far as I'm concerned, because you got to be able to play the action. AMD just made another run at the low of the day. It's a double bottom. If it bounces again, we'll get out above VWAP. Now we're just looking for a lower high to short, as this is looking like it is going to be a flush zone for them. I was just a little bit surprised at this, but I saw in the chat some people were saying, Neil, ARM was a long in a bearish pattern. I just thought it was a rejection of the 50 period and we'd want to short up there. But no, it's the 112 level. So it just got up to 112. That's where I would be more comfortable putting the short on. But this is suddenly the strong name. Up 0.6 when all the chips are getting flushed. Yeah, we don't have to fight that one. Apple's trying to break out the highs, so I thought we'd get a dip buy at 191. Obviously, that hasn't happened, so VWAP's in here at 191.5. We get down into here, we'll look for a bounce on Apple. Still a strong stock, as far as I can tell. Here comes Mara. Can it hold on to 22? Is the only question on my mind. So Mara put in one bottom at 21.75. If it holds on to 22 here, looking for the dip, and then rip back up to those tops. Still have some strength in BTC and ETH.
Yeah, ETH is nuts right now. Yeah, nice trade there on AMD as that's continuously going down as well. We'll take advantage of that Amazon out sub 181. What a better time right now. No better time right now to ask for likes and subscriptions. I mean, look at the trading that we've been doing today, man. Get over there, hit the like, hit the subscribe. That can't be right. 43 likes, obviously. We'll refresh that and get it going. But go over to our stream, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share. I mean, over 450,000. Let me see what this is. BTC, ETH, Cardano. That's a mistake. That should be way higher. But right there, 700. Thank you so much. Over 8,000 watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe for us immediately, and then go over. We have a new Wealth and Freedom and Wealth podcast that we're working on right now. So go over, like, let me see how many subscribers we have to this one, 380. Let's get that number a little bit higher as well. Bears vs. Bulls will put that in the subscription for us. So 380 subscribers, that's about to drop. But hit the like, hit the subscribe, and share this stream with everybody. That's the only way that we can grow.
Hit the like and subscribe button. I've promised so many times we'll film a new one for that one and get a little something other than the Mr. T action going on over and over again. It is what it is. But if you like it, like it. We're powering up crypto. I know a lot of people are looking at ETH at 38 and Bitcoin at 71. Yeah, continued strength. The market's not looking that great because of Nvidia and that Amazon news, but Mara just made the bounce, higher low off 22. It is red on the day, just so you know, but it made that false bottom. Not really a false bottom. It broke the low of the day, the pre-market low, and then came back immediately. So a bit of a look grab. Bounced off 22s. I got 22.10 on the way back into the upside and got one bounce out of it. Now it's still looking pretty heavy though. So we scalped this trade. I want to see it stabilize. I feel like I'm a little bit early on this, and it's still looking weak on Mara. So I just took the money and ran. If it holds 22, we'll go back over to it. You still bidding Polestar?
I haven't even looked at Polestar yet. We want to talk a little bit about Polestar.
We'll
bring Randy back around a little after 10-ish and get your opinion on PSNY.
Because I can tell you that level.
Randy's not filled yet.
That level
Here you are,
is still
Randy.
holding.
Are you sure about that? Oh, you took a little bit off. Now it's only 5.6
You know how tempting it is to just try to
down there. All right, well, watch out for Polestar. Doing a whole heck of a lot of nothing right now.
But if you just get 4s long,
Yeah,
punch out 3s.
Yeah, lots of strategies to do that kind of
That's
stuff.
what I'm saying. Like if you get 4s long, you have to get the fill though. Like
What's the volume? How many million?
5.6 million.
Okay,
but look at this. All these prints are on the mid. 4
That's
half.
nice.
Yeah, like you need to.
That stocks is so nice.
You have to sit there
okay.
and try to catch a 4 long, try to get a 5, take a ton of shares. That's the name of the game. So quick scalp trade on Mara. I'm just in and out. I don't know why that's still showing a position. It could not break the opening range, like that 22.35. So I just jumped out of it, and I'll look for a little more strength, maybe a bounce off the lows there. So AMD working to the downside. We've only traded 3 things. Quick little bounce on Mara off 22. Apple still holding out. I would love to get into some. I guess Zoom is probably not. Oh, yeah, it did come back in. Okay, so Zoom just came back. It bounced off 65. I was looking for a failure of the 50-period moving average off the open, but there was no volume in the pre-market. I wanted to see it actually trade. Yeah, if it can hold under 63, consolidate there, I'd look for a short on Zoom. Still a bit of a spread that I don't like seeing over there on Zoom, though.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a little bit higher here on Google, but Google is oops, sorry, that's GME. I was going to look at GME, by the way. It did make a move down. It's down 8%. I just want to talk about it because, so we just took some more. Wait, I didn't get filled more Google up there? Oh, there we go. Okay, we got it. Waiting for that 20, but that's making a move, and just we would be foolish not to check out AMC maybe. That's going kind of the other way right now. So AMC has seemed stronger than GME the last couple of days. So I think that's worth noting a little bit there. All right, so we only have about 20% of our Amazon left. We just reloaded Google down here. We've made good money on Google so far, but a lot stronger than the market. So that is, for me, warning shots fired. Okay, because now that we're much stronger than the market here on Google, like why are we even up on this name? We thought that we were gonna play a little bit of strength versus weakness on this one, and it's not weaker than the market. So that for me is not a recipe for success. So we'll average in a little bit more against that high. Just double checking my stop is at 30. So yeah, so just into the pre-market here. We're not gonna hold it too much past some of these levels into yesterday's close of, I mean, we're already above yesterday's close, but right into there, that's 20s. That's kind of where we are right now. So a little bit higher than this, man, and we're gonna have to tap out the same way there it is. So we'll be out in a matter of seconds. There it goes. So Google really on one back up to the upside there. So maybe some of the longs are in now, and we just might have double topped down there at 18.7. So far so good. Macy's takes the bottom way, so we got out of that. But again, we'll still be okay with Macy's, but it's going the other way as the market starts to go a little bit higher here. I think it might be worth shorting some of the Qs here. We got to watch out for those names. You're out of AMD, so that's
it just came.
Yeah.
Like AMD just made another run at the low, and we're right back at VWAP. So once again, this does not really continue, and seems like it wants to get back to that 165 one more time. So we took the buck on the trail, and we'll look for the 165 to come back into play. You're starting to look pretty strong, though. This NASDAQ is right back. Before we go to it, just quickly before we go to Adara, like you pretty much are at the afternoon support level. So like support to resistance here at 18.72. If we roll over, I'd look for maybe a VWAP short on this AMD. Let's go to Adara.
Nice look here for Meta Materials, breaking off the previous day's highs. Here's a nice little breakout for MMAT, announcing that the company's lawyers concluded that it does have claims 4 lawsuits for market manipulation against several parties, specifically in regards to naked short selling. From what I'm seeing, they also do have a short float of about 10.5%. So MMAT definitely one to watch this morning, guys.
All right, so
NVAX is making up.
the craziest thing about Google is, you know, it ran that 50 and then just now is starting to tank pretty decently. So we got out there at break of that 25. We talked about that. There it is. Our print is 29s. So that, unfortunately, we were short at 177.05 or something like that. So we just took that short there and then that short there. So that short is 77. That's 77, and that's 15s. So, you know, I still think it's a strong name. I'm not going to reshort this name. And the reason that gets me thinking about that is because look at Amazon. It's not making those epic moves to the north side. We'll wait to see if maybe we can get a 182 back into the short. But let's hold on to this one. We've done well. Stopped out early on Amazon, but then right back in off the 50 period. We'll try the 50 period again. But I'm into something now that could be spicy. So we're going to watch out for the TQs. So right here now, I don't know why we're missing a candle there, but we're going to go short right into this level now, 80s, looking for 90s, the 200 period, and then honestly, probably going to stop out at yesterday's level again there on the NASDAQ. So if we get back up to 64, we'll stop out, but looking to load more shares in 63.90 for hopefully a hold in and around 64, and then the push back down. So that's an early sort of start for me now on the TQs. So we'll start to short in the market. Maybe right, maybe wrong, but for right now, the NASDAQ just made a nice move back to VWAP, held 18.7. So let's see if we can come back and test it. That should put our Qs in the money. So as long as that happens, fine. Uber's not at 65 yet. And then, yeah,
Nikes.
Nope. Dog. The Google is now down to 177. So that's okay. We just need the Qs to go down. If that happens, then we're all good. So let's wait to see what happens here.
Yeah, I'm just looking at, thank you to everyone in the chat that pointed out that NVAX is squeezing. So remember, these guys got that Santa Fe deal. It's a huge short float. I don't remember the exact number. I'll look it up in a quick little second. But there's the 15 breakout. And so if it comes back in, I like a 15 dip. I always think support to resistance and breakouts, you know, breakout levels for dips back into the break level. So VWAP also happens to be at 15 bucks. I want to look for a long off of that level. AMD doesn't seem to want to give me the 165 anymore. Now you've wicked VWAP. So I'm going to just make an adjustment. If it's going to be a lower high and we want to look for the short again, then we'll be shorting it off of this little wick here at VWAP on AMD. So I just want to rinse and repeat it, or stick with the trend. That would be the better way to put it, because we're not rinse and repeating the same level. We're looking to short off VWAP, give it to 164.5. But I like this long setup here in Novavax. If the squeeze names are moving from one to the other, well, these guys have a fundamental reason why they can go squeezing. So I like this 15 level on Novavax. I'm gonna probably wet the beak here in the 20s if we can get that.
All right. So we'll try. I know we've already lost on Tesla, completely understood. Up 2%, can't break 179. Well, it did. It went to 179.30.
Keyboard.
You know what? We can have bigger fish to fry.
I need to clean my keyboard.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Our keyboard's been through war around here. All right, so here comes the TQs. Good push so far. We just talked about shorting it. So let's just call it, we're short at 18,717. It's only 10 handles. It just went 20 handles in the money, and we took a bid. So look at that. We got VWAP. Let's go, man. That's exactly the kind of stuff, although it's not a huge move, it makes it move all the way back to VWAP. So again, load it up a little bit there. You can see we have a little bit there. Oh, it's Marjorie Taylor Greene has taken a position in Charles Schwab.
Oh, that's what I knew. I heard something
Yeah.
on Schwab, but I didn't.
So it's going down. And then apparently also KMI, Kinder Morgan. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing. Maybe Adara can. So look up Charles Schwab and KMI, Adara, because yeah, so she's confirming KMI. She's going to get over all this. But right now not moving, but that's why you mentioned Schwab before. So, all right, so that's why that's in play. So just about Tesla, it's stronger name. We don't need to short a strong name. So although it was on the sticky note, sometimes I look back and I'm like, man, I should have given that more room. But we liked it at 176, more room. This is at 179. So obviously the read there to go short early on that governance news was wrong. And it was lower than the market here, and then it really got going in the pre-market. Remember, we shorted 175.50s in the pre-market, and then boom, took us out and up to the upside. We're still $1 in the money, though, on Amazon, and kind of waiting for 82s to come in. As long as that holds, then we like it. But I'm focused right now on my most reloaded, and my biggest position by far is the TQQs. So we'll sit here and sort of, we won't sit on our hands or anything, but it's a nice move. We are bidding some 50s, and maybe I'll put another bid here at 60 just to get something out again. What's up, Miss A?
So I'm still not seeing anything with regards to Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Charles Schwab, but I am seeing on Twitter, apparently should get involved in Kinder Morgan KMI. Again, not really seeing any more details on that. I'll let you guys know if I see specific positions in anything with regards to Schwab. So cannot confirm Schwab, can confirm that it's being circulated on Twitter that she's involved in Kinder Morgan, guys.
Thank you very much, Sir Adara, and thank you, Dominic, for the super chat there. Sean Neal, can you explain why you short the TQQ versus going with the inverse of that? Long story short, I mean, at the end of the day, if you, it's easier, like in our system, you actually display in your summary, like red stocks when you're short a stock, and green is just easier to be betting something to go down with a short position. So obviously, if you have restrictions on being able to short, then going long in a reverse is what you want to do. But for us here at Real Trading, it's just as easy to stick with it and keep it as simple as possible. And I 100% agree with Jay Vandaway. MTG reminds me of the nanny from The Omen. I love that movie, and I 100 million% agree with that. It's actually a little bit eerie. Good movie, scary movie, but the market trying to go higher. Apple just broke out the top. I did not get this VWAP dip on Apple, so we'll have to look for it at 191.75, as I'm going to sneeze. But we want VWAP, we want the trend. I'm going to trail this one if we get past 192.5, and then Novavax we just grabbed off this dip into 15.25. It just ticked to 15.50. We're looking for this to take out the top as well, as this squeeze name is at least going to the upside, not so much with GameStop and its cohorts. Let's go back to the desk with Adara.
Good morning so far. Lots of catalysts, lots of earnings, and of course, lots of Fed speak. Both the SPY and NASDAQ slightly negative on the day right now, but NASDAQ a little bit weaker than the S&P 500, but it is worth noting amongst the Fed speakers we've had so far, we had Fed Waller saying that, quote, "I just don't see rate hikes." So I think that's certainly something worth noting there. Fed Waller, much like Jay Powell saying, Jerome Powell earlier, saying that they do not necessarily see a possibility of rate hikes in the near future. So nice look there, some confirmation. But we do have lots more Fed speakers to keep an eye on, even heading into the evening. We do have Eli Lilly to watch here, up 3% and actually making new all-time highs, getting approval in China for its weight loss and diabetes drug. So nice look there. We also have Nvidia very much to the downside, down about 1% right now, consolidating a bit after the Financial Times reported that Amazon is halting orders of its super chip to wait for a more up-to-date model. And last but not least, Palo Alto down about 5% here after their earnings. Numbers themselves were pretty good, but we had a little bit more in-line guidance for PANW, guys.
So just really quickly, good news for Eli Lilly there. Me and Neil just talking about it. And remember, on our very last podcast, the last thing that we had recommended and bought was Eli Lilly. We did a whole thing. Remember that, Adara? We did that earnings report there on Eli Lilly, and we liked it. So I haven't even looked at the stock today, but we just went long Ethereum.
Moon.
So we just went long at 32.60 on Ethereum. We're starting to get it out now at 32.80. So when Moon, you doing all right, Ramin, over there? She's listening. You know you're really cool when you got your sunglasses on walking around this place, looking all undercover. I like that. There it goes, Ethereum, man. We're back in it, man. The crypto kid is here. No, not really. Nice move to the upside again. We hammered this yesterday. Let's sit in it for a minute. It's Ethereum, and it is wonderful. All right, now Amazon. How about that? We missed that move up. I actually was not even, like, what was up with that? We said we'd want to short 182, and I wasn't even sitting there. I thought I was not. So we missed that pop-up, so we'll take some now into that short. We should be short 182, not reloaded rate here at 175. But here's a move back in for AMZN. Let's sit on that bid and at least reward ourselves for getting a little bit more into the short, as there it goes, right back up to the upside again. So be careful here with Amazon. It seems to be catching a bid. The NASDAQ also catching a bid. So we might catch some flack on this trade here. Watch out for this 18,730 level there. It topped out early, then bottomed out early, then topped late, looking to make that move again. So we're going to watch out for that. Amazon, we didn't get out. We should have. That's too bad. We put a bid there and it ran away. And then, yeah, Dominic, Neil's right. I mean, we have, because on a prop floor, the price that you see here doesn't matter to me. Yesterday, instead of trading NVDL, we were trading NVDA. It doesn't, to me, it's just a matter of share size. And then, like Neil said, if I'm going to go short the market, I'd like to see the stocks that I have go down instead of SQQ, which would just be the other way. So it's like if I had buying power, like if I only had $1 million or whatever, $100,000, then I would be trading SQQ because, you know, it's only 10 bucks. So I completely understand, but the idea remains the same. We're shorting it because of my opinion on the direction of the market. There it is right there. We'll spin that a little bit for Eli Lilly. For Amazon, because we just got that short there at 182. So we were patient, we waited. We actually got 92s. So let's take a bid at 72, and hopefully this market will come in. Remember, we're adding to it at the 200 period, giving this name to 64. There it is yesterday. There's that 64 top, basically. So we're watching out for that right now. We're right here right now. If we break higher, then we're going to get off of the NASDAQ. But Amazon is really falling in, which is a good one. We'll go to Adara.
Nikola moving around a little bit here. NKLA just fell down a little bit, but it was up about 9% after ALO placing 100 trucks for order here of Nikola. Worth noting, apparently the delivery for these is going to be 2025. They do have a 17% short float, so NKLA chopping and turning around a little bit this morning, guys.
Oh,
Look
if
at
Nikola
Ethereum.
can break the top, that'll be spicy. I said if we wick the 192.5, we're going to get out, trail it on Apple. We got that dip into 191. It actually held on pretty nicely, took some out in front of the top. I'm going to go to VWAP here. It's held VWAP once and bounced. That'll be 191.80, which is also yesterday's high. So we get a dip. We're going to try to jump back into this one long. It is relatively, I mean, it is strong relative to the market. It's a better way to put it. So we do like some Apple. AMD, I missed that chance off of VWAP when it wicked down to jump back into the short trade. Still looking for the short off of VWAP. We've only been short this name, and the chips have been relatively weak. It's worth noting Nvidia still putting in some higher lows there. So AMD weak relative to Nvidia. So just want to stick around with the same names we've been trading, which is Apple and AMD primarily. We are now in Novavax after it was brought to our attention that that one was breaking out. But starting to show weakness in there. We scalp once. If it doesn't hold on to this consolidation, I got to look for that $15 level. And then Mara, we were in the long Mara once. It's holding off the bottom, but these are lower highs into a flat bottom, not literally looking as strong. So just going to be patient here. Patience has ruled the day for me this morning, so I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah, let Amazon cook. Wow. Okay, we just reloaded 182. I mean, it is now 70 cents, 80 cents in the money in 3 minutes. So, boom, goes the dynamite right there. And we only have 5% left of Ethereum.
Oh my God.
So, good day today, man. Good day. Let's see if Ether keeps on ripping to the upside there. ETH, we are in the Ether right now with that stock. I mean, up 13% again. We had this yesterday, long 26, so I hope some of you still held that. We can't hold overnight, but there it goes, man, 32.90 and still going higher. We are now just a dime, or sorry, we're now 40 cents in the money on this Ethereum trade, but it has a chance to take out the tops. So when that happens, giddy up right now. Look what just happened on here too. Oh, shoot. There's a nice little reload up top, obviously there on our friend, Dominic, the TQQ. So there's another little bit of a reload there. As we just watched it sort of settle down a little bit, we wanted to get some more shares, so we'll put a little bit more on. Hey man, today's a day that ends in Y. What's up, Adara?
Interesting one to keep an eye on here. FLJ currently halted. The FLJ Group is the name of this company. But this one is worth noting, up about 72.4% and seeing a pretty significant short float, seeing a couple different numbers here, 55%, 120%, but regardless, pretty high short float and small amount of shares here for FLJ as well. Again, seeing a couple different numbers, but in the low millions at the highest, guys.
Yeah, good look on that one. I'm actually still keeping my eye in case I want to do some trading that PSNY. I'm going to have to get, if I want to do it, you got to get on that bid. pretty much pronto. But I just got out of Novavax, and we mentioned not looking nearly as strong as we'd like to see on that last little break at the top, so I get out when it breaks the consolidation to stay green on the stock. If it holds 15 and holds VWAP, then we can always jump back into it. But looking a little bit heavy as well, going over to ARM. ARM is still looking like it wants to take out some highs here, but that 112 resistance that we talked about it was on Friday and then again yesterday, I guess it was more like 111.70. Looking a little bit weak off this 112. So support turning into resistance. ARM is a strong stock today. I'd love to see the market and other names rolling over before jumping at it. But it is at the level we'd like to see it fail. So once I see some weakness, I'd like to jump in. But why even force that if we can get back into AMD, which is pushing back to VWAP, it looks like. So lower highs on AMD, down 1.5%. It's been nothing but a trend to the downside, just a little bit easier to work back into the short on this name. And not talking about the same names over and again, but Apple can't even pull back at this point. So we got out when it failed 192.5. It's still holding 192.40, 0.7. The strong name. All there was for Apple was just that they're challenging that EU $1.8 billion fine. That's pretty much it. That's all it seems to take here for Apple to get back into the
Wow,
upside.
192.
Yeah, it's looking pretty strong here for Apple. I haven't double-checked Meta at any point today. Because if you're looking for other strength in the market, I mean, Meta's at VWAP, but it's Apple that seems to be carrying a lot of these. And of course, I mean, Tesla. I mean, Tesla's still holding up at these highs. So I have a resistance up here at 179.5. I'm trying to talk myself out of going short Tesla right now.
Yeah, we had short Tesla as our idea, but it got blown up. All right, so right there, we just covered a little bit more of Amazon right now down here. So we're getting lighter and lighter on this position. So let's wait to see. And I did cover Ethereum, which might be a problem. I just saw it bouncing around 32. We take them out at 90s here. Good level. We're long at 65 out here. It looks like it's going to break higher. Honestly, I still have it up. I'm still watching it. It's not really going through 38. So I kind of wanted to be able to go short with it. So obviously this is a mistake as it's going higher, and I'd love to be celebrating this. But I just wanted to get out so that when I punch short, I can take it. We did have to pay for shorts though. So it was like not even a cent a share. So it was very, very cheap to get locates on ETH to the point where I think it probably shouldn't have been pay. But there it is. Nice move now to the upside there. For Ethereum and the ETHE name over on OTC markets. But again, like it just made a huge move right here when this didn't really go. It's at okay, there it goes. So now we got to see. So I had thought that we could stop here at 3,800. Let's now see. I mean, and again, a big, huge congratulations. I mean, I'm long with you. I'm just more sad now that I got out. But so far, so good there. And again, a big one, man. Watch this thing just continue to go. It's ETH. And I might have to check because I'm in the Canadian version of that to see what that's doing. Amazon right now, 181.92. So here we go, still lower. Let's keep going on that one. And the Qs right now trying to go lower as well. We're still waiting for more shares up here, though. Hopefully we get those, but I'm fine with not getting them, man. I'm fine. If this wants to go down, let's tank City right here. I'm bidding 65 for something on that. As Amazon, another dollar. Let's put it on 181 now, just in case there's some sort of psychological level. But there it is right now, psychological level or not. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Your psychology will change if you subscribe to this channel.
And it will change for the good.
You'll feel better.
You will definitely feel better.
Yeah. It's
You'll
a
feel better about
life-changing
yourself, and you'll feel better about the community helping you out there. I mean, the community just gave us Nikola, right? And that's like 8% to the upside. There was a little bit of news there, but all anyone cares about is the fact that it could squeeze. Local top at 58, so I like this enough for a breakout. Volume's good. It's actually bouncing off VWAP. I don't know if I want to take a VWAP bounce. I might change my mind. But if this takes out 50, I'm going to jump into the long because you can risk 1.5 cents back into VWAP. So I like that setup. PANW is gonzo. So the dip buy on PANW is not happening at 298 anytime soon that I wanted, or that 288 level. Looks like it's going to hold on to VWAP. Way too strong. Mara is back under VWAP. It's just not showing the strength. I want to be long over VWAP if I can for a trend up, but it's still putting in lower highs right into this bottom. So unfortunately, it's just not going to be there. AMD doesn't even want to give you VWAP at all. We got out of that short. Still love the fact that it's relatively
Oh,
weak,
man.
but that also means that you're not able to get some of these pops back into 164. It's going to jump back on the offer again. Being patient has played. Still haven't taken an L yet, but if you start getting out of the pocket, that's exactly when it can happen. ARM might just be time. I wanted to see the weakness. The market's turning around. It just dipped off that 112 another time. So it's time for me to get involved in ARM. This has been strong, so you got to be careful, but that 112 was the level we liked.
I mean, guys, what are we even talking about? Look at Amazon. We were just short 182. It's at 180.80 right now. Nice downside move on Amazon. Look at the TQs. We just printed low on that one. We got into the 60s. They're right back up to VWAP again. So we'll take multiple outs there as it comes back to the downside as well. So far, so good. And then, yeah. I don't know. So we'll have to adjust that so that this can at least show up. I don't ETHE here as we're just short. So we just shorted this name at 11s and took some out at 01s right there on Ethereum as it's breaking, but again, I think that move was a little high there. Let's just see if it goes down. We're out of 2/3 of this just for a dime right there. I like that banana there, Randy, because we've got one over here as well ready to go after the show. 10:14 now. Get your potassium ASAP with Trader TV Randy and the rest of us. Faraday Future right there. Yesterday, we had some fun with this name in and around $2, but again, 79 million shares, down 27%. What goes up must go down, man. I mean, it might be a cool car, but it's not a cool stock if you've been long over the last little while. If you're long at the basement of a cent or whatever it was, or 5 cents, then great. I don't know why this chart's not loading, but we were up to $3 or $4, I believe. Yeah, 220. I think we got to 4. I'll have to reload this chart, but anyways, Faraday pulling back for those of you asking about that right now. All right, so Amazon, we just talked about that. We actually get that print down there at 181. We did not get that 80 fill. We're waiting there now. And then I said JP Morgan, is probably a buy down there at the 200, at the 50-period moving average. We kind of got there, but not really. That low of the day is 195. You're all the way up to 199 for JP Morgan.
Bye-bye.
So, yeah, there might have been an opportunity to buy that, or there might have not been.
I would have been looking at I liked it a little bit lower on JP Morgan, I'm not going to lie, so I wouldn't have been involved in that one. I just felt like on that news, you were so close to the 50, and there was a kind of a trail level, a bit of a trend level on the daily as well. VWAP not holding on AMD, so we do get the third shot at it. I mean, technically you had multiple shots at 165, but the third shot on a pop, and it's not holding on to VWAP. So we short underneath 164, we'll let it break. If it goes higher into 165, we still like that level. I do have an order to break long on Nikola. If it gets over 57, I'll let you guys know. That does look like a spicy meatball. And so there was news this morning on DJT. I'll have to double check to see what it is. It's down 9% and about to go SSR. Down 9% there. I'll double check to see what the news is, but that's about the flat bottom break here at 44. Check that, it already broke 44 and continuing lower. So DJT getting absolutely smoked. ARM, we just grabbed. We actually had to pay for locates on ARM. They're relatively cheap. They're like 1/8 of 1 cent per share, but here at Real Trading, we did have to pay for some locates. I'm going to get some out in front of 111.20 and then see if that can't pop down into VWAP. Has been a strong stock, relatively speaking, but it's at that big level of 112 here on the 15 minutes. So support into resistance, and then now making a bit of a top here on ARM. Let's go back over to Adair at the desk.
So here's the news here with regards to Trump Media and Technology Group, DJT. They did report earnings, Q1 earnings per share, $3.61 loss per share, revenue of $770,000 versus 1.12 million, bit of a year-over-year drop. The way they address this is basically saying that they're focused on product development rather than quarterly revenue at this stage in the company's development. So bit of a move to the downside. That's the contextualization there for DJT.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so there it is. Nice little downside push there for DJT. And of course, I just saw as well, Trump defense rests case.
Yeah, there it is.
So that's it. So after called 2 witnesses, now they have rested their case. So I guess there's decision. I don't know. I don't want to say imminent. I have no idea what the legal system looks like for that. But yeah, downside right now, DJT. Just watch out. Obviously, we've talked about where this name can go, where it's come from. This used to be DWAC, so it does have that $10 floor when it de-SPAC'd. But at the same time, or as it was a SPAC, but now that it's de-SPACed, it's definitely had to move up, man. I mean, that $80 was pretty sweet. Watch out, you're now below this 47, and we've talked about that a couple times on the show as well, breaking through some of these levels. So DJT definitely in trouble, in my opinion, right now. All right, so again, we shorted. I'm just watching Ethereum, and I shorted again. So I'm now short Ether, ETHE, sorry, at 33.18s. So we just got a fill at 07. We took some 11s as well. So let's see now if it holds 3,800. We're short ETHE. We did reloaded a little bit. We're still waiting for those 90s to come in. You'll see a much bigger position if when that happens. But for right now, the market might want to go. We're above 18.7. We're above VWAP right now. We're above the 50-period moving average. I don't have the 200 on here. Maybe I'll put it on. I've never really looked at it on the futures, but 18.725, the top there. So that's what we just shorted on the TQs. It almost got to our level, but didn't, so we're still waiting for that. So a good short at 79s is what we just shorted, so a little bit of a pullback would be greatly appreciated there. Yeah, other than that, man, Amazon still doing its dance. We're trying to get lower on this one, and we're just staying in our pocket with what we've been talking about. I know Neil's used that terminology today as well, so I think that's important. Let's wait to see what happens with TQs now, trying to get lower as well. But so far, so good here. It's about to get better with Adara over at the screen.
At WM running into a little bit of resistance here at that 208.50 area, slightly down on the day. Russell 2000. Let's take a look at what some of these small cap names are doing, including FLJ. FLJ Group is the name of the company. This one's interesting. We did have a halt here, and we have a pretty high short float percentage. I was seeing a couple different numbers, 55%, 120%. So not sure of the exact number, but decent short float here at small float for FLJ. We also have BDRX, kind of topping and turning around here, but up about 74%. After having some positive data for its treatment for FAP scheduled to be presented at this upcoming digestive disease meeting. So nice look there. And last but not least, Metamaterials, MMAT. This one trying to break day's highs, up about 70+% here, saying that their lawyers have concluded that they have grounds to take action against some parties for market manipulation, more specifically naked short selling. So MMAT on watch here as well, guys.
Well, I'll tell you what's on watch. It's going to be these chip names 100%. If we have any chance of holding on to these highs in the market that Nvidia has the fault of bringing to the downside, it's going to have to be led by Apple. Apple's still at the high of the day after boom at the open. We did grab $1.25 on that bad boy, but if we can't hold on to this top, we're going southbound. And the thing about the short is every single time you short a chip name at resistance, you make money today. So that's what happened over in ARM. Strong stock got up to 112, easy peasy, shorting it, and then right back into VWAP as we speak. Nvidia and Amazon news taking it to the downside, and the chip names are responding in kind. But I'm still looking for the promised land on Apple. We got to find a way back into this one. It's been super strong. About the only name I'm liking to the long side that isn't some kind of squeeze name, and you're about to get a dip back into VWAP. There's something to be made, long, shorts, and in between. You just got to find relative strength and weakness. It's always there in these markets. Speaking of relative strength and weakness, Nvidia is starting to wake up. Nvidia is starting to wake up, and it just got to VWAP. So I'm in ARM short right now. If Nvidia takes out 941, I'm punching out of ARM very quickly. Not punching my arm, but I'm punching out of ARM, which just means getting out of the trade. That's old trader talk. Punch out, remove liquidity from the bid or the ask. If it gets back up there, we got to get out. AMD, we're going to reload this one at 165, though. As long as 165 is in the pocket, we're going to take our shot at AMD. It's been a good short. I don't think there's any reason to get away from that level another time here. And for those of you that were just watching that DJT story, it just went 10% down and broke another low. This is free falling at this point. Down through a flat bottom break at 44 even. If it gets to like an even dollar level, I might try to catch a bid because it's short sell restricted, but this is falling like an absolute rock into the gates of hell. Thanks, Adara, for that story.
Yeah, man. I was gonna say, Neil coming back with a vengeance, man. We're loving the energy here today. Good job on
It's
that one,
spotty,
Neil.
by the way.
Going. We like that. We like that look. So let's keep that going. Obviously, and you guys keep it going too, man. Keep the likes, the subscribes, all of that right now. But the market is going higher right now. So I wanted to look at SMH because I haven't really looked at it. I mean, we nailed Nvidia. Nvidia yesterday was a great trade. We should probably be looking at it again today. That news sort of got me twisted a bit on it, so we're going to wait to see what's going on with NVIDIA individually. So I would want to look at SMH, but still down that 0.84. Don't know if this is the right thing right here. I mean, I would hope that it would have been closer to the 200 period. Let me zoom in a little bit more on this one. So a nice little battle back here in the market and whatnot. We still didn't get our Qs short, although that came, I just have to change this now, 86. I'm still going to wait for 90s. That's where I was. So I'm going to wait to see 90s. Am I at 90s? Yeah, I'm still at 90s. Okay, I'm going to put an offer now at let's go to 85, just in case it gets up there. We could be wrong on this short on the market, by the way. I mean, that's for sure. So we'll just wait to see if there is going to be something there. But for now, we're still going to try to trade that. Amazon, kind of barcoding. I mean, we're bidding 85s now. You know what? Let's just bid 96. It seems like it. We put a 96 bid there. Did we get it? Yes, we did. So we get that 96 fill right there on Amazon. So far, so good there. But it's kind of there it is, 96s again. Now that it's kind of barcoding in and around here, might not be much of a trade. But so far, so good here for Amazon on that short. It's a pretty big one, actually. What's up, Adara?
Great day for some of these healthcare names. We have Eli Lilly making new all-time highs, as well as AstraZeneca, currently up about 2.5% right now, announcing that they're targeting $80 billion in total revenue by 2023, and they're going to achieve that through extending their pipeline. So AZN, nice look to the upside here, guys.
Yeah, good look for them. I just went and paid for locates on DJT just so that I have them.
Well.
But like this just made a big acceleration to the downside. It's now 12%, almost 12% down. I think there's going to be an SSR bounce at some point, no questions asked. But looking back over, if it gets to an even dollar and bounce is fine. Looking back over at this meme stock, I saw some people talking about AMC. And I like the break still on Nikola, no question about it. But the closer we get to $5, it didn't break 5 in the afternoon yesterday. It didn't break 5 at lunchtime on Friday. I think $5 for a break is going to be in play here, just in case we see that kind of strength. NVIDIA is really starting to go. So as I said, like NVIDIA is now at 937, headed back for that 940 level. Right back and bouncing shy of VWAP is going to be ARM. I don't know if I want to let it get to that top. If it gets to the highs and NVIDIA is not turning around, I'm obviously just going to get out, not even let it get to that 112, looking pretty strong in NVIDIA and taking a lot of things up with it, including AMD, which is now bouncing off of VWAP, a little bit of a sea change for them. Apple's still strong. I want VWAP on Apple. I'm just going to get on the bid at 192.
Is Apple still
I'm going to
strong?
wet
I need
the
a strong stock.
I'm just going to sit in front of VWAP so I get picked up if this does come back in. But the market's looking strong. I don't want to be long NVIDIA on the news. I'd like to get back into Apple. It just feels like that's the wrong stock to try to take a shot on. Because if NVIDIA fails this break, you'd be right back at those lows. Still think that's a relatively weak name. Mara, which we did want for strength. We took one shot in it at a higher low. Scalped it out. It's right back triple bottom at the lows of the day for Mara. So that's out the window. Do not want to be fighting a weak stock trying to go long.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why we're switching over. Well, not switching over. We've been trading the futures for a while here, but that's why I'm on the futures right now is I'm just trying to trade against here, 18,730 in yesterday's close, basically. It doesn't show it here. This is a NASDAQ stock, but here's the TQs. If we're going to look at where we were yesterday on this stock. I mean, I don't know. Like, that's $64. I wasn't sure the NASDAQ would get green, but it looks like it may want to do exactly that. So we just shorted up here. We've been really calm and cool and collected on this. It's just, look at this. This is stair-stepping that way. I'd much rather it stair-step that way. So we do have some bids. And then this one, again, we're only out of the money right now 5 cents. So not a big deal, but the triple Qs could rip. Right now, above VWAP, above the 50 period, holding 18.7. That's been a little bit of a recipe for disaster for me, you know, holding against certain levels. So we're waiting for that. Obviously, we're going to take a couple more fills if this gets up here, and then that would be that. So we'll wait. I'm going to actually, now that I'm going to change my default, just lower it a little bit there at 90. doesn't look like the NASDAQ wants to come down. And then our opinion must change because of Nvidia, I feel like. I just keep hearing Neil talk about it. Still going to the upside. I looked at SMH. It looks like it wants to get up to that 200 period as well. So I would not even come close to shorting this until we get to this 945 area for Nvidia. I know we're close to that now, but if we get anywhere near there, then this is squashed. So be careful with it right now. The triple Qs. Amazon's still going down. ES is trying to break out, I know. JP Morgan's breaking out. Let me just check on Macy's quickly. Macy's, look at Macy's, wow. So it's funny that we were able to get out of that one and then just tank City into Macy's today, now down 2%. And then Tesla, I guess a strong name, Tesla, because we had shorted that one, only noticing that it ripped back up. So maybe 180. I mean, whoever stood in front of 180 there got rewarded, that's for sure.
But the market looked pretty strong. I don't want to be shorting I just shorted one strong stock, that was ARM. It took out 112, and then you'll see I have Alibaba up because, wow, like the day that we don't want to dip buy Alibaba at the even dollar level, like that's the day that it's the easiest thing. Whoops, and I'm missing yesterday's data. That's fine. Don't need it. Doesn't really matter. This is 86 at the bottom. It wicked 86, held at the open, and then right in here at 10 o'clock, it bounced exactly off of $86.05. Now I want to be long back into VWAP on Alibaba. So the market trying to go up, Baba doing its thing with higher lows. If it breaks out, I want to be long before the breakout on Baba. Always been kind of like a favorite whenever it's trending to the upside. So you put in higher lows on Alibaba, and I like it. For those that are watching that FFIE, it's short sell restricted, and it just did this wick. Usually I'd be long this at $1.30 because massive volume spike at the low of the day to 125, then it just starts holding a higher low. So I'd usually be long this 30 to that higher low at 28, like 3 cents worth of risk, playing the VWAP to make 10 cents. But I just missed this opportunity. I just noticed it now. Worth noting, SSR still doing decent volume, but nowhere near what it was doing before on FFIE. Let's go to Adara for the crypto update.
Can't really talk about crypto this week without mentioning Ethereum. Massive move up for Ether. We had some Bloomberg analysts yesterday on Twitter, including Eric Balkunas, basically saying that they've increased their odds or their views of Ethereum getting approved from 25% to 75%, just based on some chatter they've overheard with regards to the SEC. Also worth noting, we do get those first two approval deadlines here for some of these ETFs on Thursday and Friday. So this is very fast approaching. And right now, a lot of positive outlook there for ETH especially. We do have Bitcoin itself. This is the daily chart. And as you can see, we're kind of coming into an area of resistance on the daily, getting near that $72,000 level, and rejecting a little bit here. We had that great pop yesterday in Bitcoin in tandem with what we saw in Ethereum, and nice volume as well. So not at all a bad look for BTC or Ethereum, and all these other crypto names basically following suit here. Bitcoin up 5%, Ethereum up 24%. Above that $3,800 level, so nice look there. Solana up 1.33%, Ripple up about 7%, Dogecoin up 12+%. Same with Avalanche and Cardano here, up almost 9%, guys.
Ooh, Cardano.
Wow, I didn't even look at that chart. Why isn't my oh, there it is.
Ethereum.
Yeah, holding 50s pretty nicely. Just checking out ADA. This is different because the ETH took out a high and then immediately rejected and looking a little bit weak off of that. But Cardano holding up at the top for a potential secondary run. But I like this Mogul stock, MOGL. It's Mobile Global Esports Inc. This time we actually know the name because I've traded this one before. Where are you, Mogul? Get in there.
Get in there.
Yeah, it's a NASDAQ stock, not in New York. Why is it not coming in there? Okay, now all of a sudden I can't load it. Yeah, all of a sudden it's not loading for me. MOGL.
Yeah, that's what it is.
MOGL. All right, well, it was holding $1 and I was going to get long $1, but for some reason the data not coming up in there. We'll go back to it in a quick second. Alibaba's starting to come back into the downside, holding this little consolidation higher. And if we break the top, I might add to this on a top break. It's MGOL. So why was it in my drop down? There you go. There you go. I was hitting enter. On our level 2, you can just drop down and then hit enter. So I was doing that instead of just typing it in fresh. But this has broken the dollar and breaking continuously higher. So I like those dollar level holds. It's a bit of a squeeze play, obviously. So fundamentally, I'm not endorsing anything about longing this stock or anything in the long term. I just like when a stock goes from penny stock to $1. Oh, it's going into a halt. All right. I just went on the bid. If it halts, I'm long. If it doesn't halt, I'm out under 19. And it didn't halt. So the idea being, I wanted to take the halt trade, so I got on the bid. It's going to try and do it again.
MGOL.
Try the same thing here. All I'm doing is getting on the bid, taking the fill, and if it doesn't halt, I'm just immediately getting out. It looks like it is going into the halt here. I'll try to add.
Do we want to go long? That was a long halt, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a long halt now. The first time, if I had held the first long, then yeah, it would be in the money. But if it doesn't halt, you could be right back down at $1, like pull back like 20 cents or so. I don't want that to happen. So we get out. I just jumped into that halt. If we open up and fail underneath 120, I get out. If we open up and fail underneath 120 and then go back to $1, I'd probably try to bounce long off $1. But for now, we are in the halt of MGOL. It's a volatility halt, so in 5 minutes it'll open, or 5 or 10 minutes it'll open back up. Seriously, Nvidia's about to go green. You got to be kidding me. Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised.
I mean, the market's ripping here. So we're at TQQ level of stop out soon. I mean, it just. Oh, sorry, that's Uber. We shorted Uber.
Going on.
The market's starting to go upside. Like Uber, the 200 period, I actually missed it, so we're into it now. I was like, let me find out what we want. Although I was actually looking for longs, and then I looked over at my chart and was like, I was like, oh, well, Uber's at a good level here. So we had written down 65, but obviously on the day, you're not always going to get the exact price that you want right there. So we'll have to wait. We are now short Uber 37s, but it's this TQ position that we're going to lose on, it looks like. Just giving this a couple more pennies as we hit that 64 level, which is what we were talking about watching out for. So yeah, right now we're just hearing obviously AMC popping upside up to $495. So that's going to be a level of concern as well there for AMC, trying to break through 5 at some point. We've sort of looked at that level over the last little while, 5.13, $5. So good little short area there for AMC. I'm just sort of like meh about this, man. Looks like we're going to get hit on the TQs. And I mean, honestly, all I've been hearing is that Nvidia. Oh, so we talked about 945 maybe for Nvidia being a level. So it's right there right now. I'm guessing that story sort of got clarified or whatever, because it doesn't seem like there's that much pain endured at all from Nvidia today. Down 0.4? You want to talk about a stock that's probably going to blow out earnings. I mean, everybody just came in and bought this thing right back up. So definitely liking that one now for the long on dip buys. So maybe like 938, 940s on a dip buy there. Seems really strong for Nvidia. Uber just hanging out up here still. So any kind of a dip buy for Uber, 64.20s would be nice. 64.25. Looks like it's trying to go higher here as well. We just need the market to pull back.
So I was just asked if I have anything on Intel. I don't. I mean, Intel, its chart doesn't look that different from most of the chip names, which was pretty weak, so it's down 0.1%. I don't really know what to say other than this looks like, with the market back at the highs, why would I not be shorting this into VWAP is the first thing that comes to my mind there. So I don't actually see any news with them. But then, like, AMD's about to get to 165. NVIDIA's breaking $945, and Intel's underneath VWAP. I just feel that that's telling me short VWAP on Intel, and then any market turn, this is back down at the low of the day. So if it's going to be that simple, then I'd probably just look for I'm just going to short that name if we get a chance. Mara, been looking for VWAP on this name. Oh, Baba couldn't hold VWAP. I just got out. We'll take the L on Alibaba. That'll end up being red. Still, if it holds VWAP again, I might jump back over to that. But what a run back on Mara. Now it just went like 60 cents or 50 cents in one shot all the way up to VWAP, no red candles. If it can start to hold VWAP, this is a big move in the market, and some continuation would be pretty darn nice for something like Mara and some of these crypto names. Apple, weirdly, as the market goes higher, this is now Apple dipping into VWAP. Okay, logic. When the market was weak, Apple was strong. When the market goes to the top, all of a sudden Apple is pulling the view up. But I said I was just going to sit there in front of 129. That's what 192. Like if Apple was at $129, there's some trucks that would have to get backed up for that level.
129.
No, I misspoke. It's 192. Like you guys know about that. I mean, come on, give me a break. MGOL should be opening in about 30 seconds or so. Wherever it opens, if it goes underneath $1.20, then I'm just going to get out. There's really no obvious levels to work with once it goes this high. Like you're at the big levels on the daily chart. Then there's like a gap fill to $1.70. So this is more just play it halt to halt. If it holds 120, there's a lot of room to still go to the upside. But if it doesn't hold, I think a retest of 120, sorry, $1 could be in play, and I'd wait for that if we get a chance. It'll be open any second now. AMD's making a run at 165. That was the level we're short all morning long. Well, at least that opening range, and looked like a good one. So Mogul just opened. I'm going to take some out in the 30s if we can, and then see how far that can go. Oh, you kidding me? I just missed. Okay, AMD just already turned.
And Mogul opened, by the way. So MGOL opening lower right now. So that's why I was glad I wasn't really watching it. These stocks are so tough, man. Not even really that many shares available to trade here. Like we were just down at 110 there on MGOL. Now
Oh, it just got me out too. That was hilarious.
Yeah, now 140 ripping there to the upside. Tough one to trade. Well, you were long.
I went long. 124 was the halt. It opened higher at 130.
Yeah.
So I was getting out at 130s. I had my stop underneath 120. I told you guys where my stop was going to be. It broke the 120s, now continuing to go higher. So I had the right idea to go long, but at the end of the day, I don't trade these without a stop. Because the way I see it, if you don't stop out here, it could be back at $1 where I would have liked to dip by. Now it's going to halt up at 141. Jacob.
Oh, I tried to get some there on the halt.
Yeah, you know what? If it's going to do this game, then I think I'm going to play dips. Remember the other day on FFIE where all of the dips were better than all of the breaks? It's not true. Well, there was one break that was really good. I'm going to play dips where you can at least get it off a key level. Because if I had played dip instead of the halt, then you could be long in front of $1, and then you don't get stopped out, but B, if it continues to go, risk to reward, you're better off. Jacob, we appreciate the super chat here. FFIE back to $1.50 today, trending back up, it seems. I think that could be a little bit optimistic on FFIE. I was more thinking like it just SSR bounces to get you to VWAP because it's still trending to the downside as far as I can tell. And then it was AMC that looked, oh, never mind. I was about to say AMC looked good for a break at $5. AMC just pulled back. But AMC looks a little bit stronger. You got an upward trend in AMC. You still have a downward trend in FFIE, which I'm not a huge fan of. If a stock is downward trending, it's got to be a pretty big level for me to want the long. But FFIE has a chance. As long as it's above $1, you know it has that chance to run. Let's go over to Adara for Sector Watch.
A lot of these sectors actually pretty mixed right now in this Tuesday morning. Lots of strength in finance. JP Morgan especially trying to make up for some of those losses yesterday during its Investors Day. We have health technology pretty mixed into the downside with the exception of Eli Lilly here making new all-time highs on approval in China for their diabetes treatment. So nice look for LLY. Energy minerals kind of mixed here to positive. Consumer services mixed to positive. Health services, some strength here as well. Producer manufacturing, not a bad look. It is worth noting lots of weakness in transportation led to the downside by UNP. Communications pretty weak here as well. Commercial services, retail trade, we do have some strength in Walmart and Costco, but Amazon, Home Depot, Lowe's, and AutoZone, notably to the downside. Lowe's and AutoZone also have earnings they're reacting to, so these ones especially weak. Utilities, though, pretty strong here, and also a little bit of strength as well in some of these mega cap names within the technology services and electronic technology sector. Apple and Microsoft pretty strong here. A lot of weakness in the rest of these names, guys.
Microsoft pretty strong as well. Well, Apple continues to be strong. Just bouncing off of VWAP nicely to 192. We grabbed 05s. It just went to the quarters. 192 halves been that top and the wall of resistance. The one problem with this move to the upside, well, generally speaking, the market moved to the upside, overnight highs. We just tagged them, and if you reverse off of that, then this bull move is probably going to go. Usually it goes sideways. You get bull move in the morning, and then you go sideways at some point at lunchtime. That could be the issue here at 187.6 on the Nasdaq. The ES is kind of broken a little bit higher, but I would throw some caution into the longs and extension throughout lunch. So scalping out. If we get VWAP again, we'll reload it and then work back over to those highs. What else we got going? Apparently IBM's having a good day. Shout out to you, Solo Cristo. I haven't really looked too much at that. AMC, not really looking like it's going to make that breakout for us at 5, still pulling back into VWAP. And then advanced micro devices, like you have to be so fast. It wicked up there. It got to 164.8, but it was there for like a split second and then right back into VWAP. So it looks like the sellers are still above 164.75. Up there is where I want to be short this name and pretty much that's it. Nvidia has done a really good job of trying to go green. It was green for a split second. I think all bets are off shorting AMD if Nvidia gets above, what's that opening range high? Oh, no, sorry, that's a pre-market. When the news was announced.
Did it fade off 45?
It's like 948 is where this was trading when you had that Amazon news. If it gets back above 948, I think I get off the offer of AMD in front of 165. There'd be no need to fight the chip names if that happens on Nvidia.
All right, so our best name today is Amazon. It's kind of gone to, that's Google. I was actually looking at Google here as a possible short up into that level, 177.80. I mean, we've sort of double touched up there, so that could be something. 177.80, we missed it by a little bit. You got to get it now if you want it, but again, if this market pulls back, great. All we've really done is head into those pre-market highs, and we actually punched out of TQQs at 64 when it broke 64.05, but we're back in now against this high. We had a wick with a big volume spike there in the futures. So that's what got us out, and then we try to fade out on volume spikes a little bit. So, we'll still be red on the name because that was like, we were short at what, 83s or something like that when it came back up, so it take about 25, 30 cent hit. So this needs to come back in or we're gonna be red on the name, but I still think there's a possibility for that. So we'll take some more out here as it's bouncing around 64, but still like the trade, still think the futures have a move to the downside. We haven't got positive, we almost did. Our stop, I guess, was just in the wrong spot, but we reloaded it, but we already took the L, so just wanna make sure that we talk about that. Mogul, I did not pay for shorts, but it just reopened tank. Not tank. I saw someone in the chat said tank. Reopened up to the upside there on that spike. So boom, boom, a couple halts, and now the halt down at 130. So all I can really say is if you have the appetite for halting and everything like that, then this is going to be it. Because when it opens back up, there's not even that much. It's not like FFIE. Where there's so much liquidity at every level.
MGRX has better liquidity.
Yeah, MGOL is super thin. Yeah, no, I know, that one's better, but this one is super, super thin. So just be careful. I don't think you need to use a lot of shares there, but again, to each their own. They resolved circuit breaker downside, stock only up 400%. So there's that. And then, by the way, we talked about this all the time because it's a big stock and it's one of the biggest holdings for me. Microsoft today, almost brand new 52-week highs. So I had no idea, and we had talked about this on the recap show, on this show, on all the shows, that why was Microsoft so beat up? I mean, their quarter was one of the best. And they got hit all the way down in. I mean, this name took a 430 down to 390, so about 7-8% haircut as well, only to get right back up to the top and break out again. So watch out for a softy break through 432, I guess. The actual high is 430 and change, but it just bounced off that. So, oh God, now Yellen's speaking. All right. I'm going to put some more on the bid here of the TQs, just in case she says something a little silly. So we'll get some more out here on the triple Qs. My next bid is at 91, so we're hoping for a push back into the 50 and the 200 on the NASDAQ. So, yeah, so there it is right now. Amazon $1. Uber 12 cents and going lower here. So far so good, but we took a lump on Uber already. All right, that's about it for me. I'm gonna get some more I'm gonna get something out on Uber. There we go. We'll take a 40 fill there on Uber as it just fades back a little bit. We took some lumps, but back into Uber short.
So just one thing, this MGRX is halted, but it's actually indicating an open down. It's halted up. $1.12 it was trading at, indicating a 106 open. So that could retest $1. It's on 136 million shares to Mogul's 158 and they're similarly priced. But this has had better liquidity, at least when I've looked at it. And it just means there's more bid-ask in there. That said, both of these are dollar plays on the reopen. Apple just wicked underneath VWAP here. So I said getting a little bit top heavy on those futures. So underneath VWAP, I want to get out. Holding VWAP, I want to try to jump back in. I like the trend on Apple. We've only been long it, but I do not need this filling in the gap. If it does, I'm going to go wait for the long at 191. Patience, like I said, has been the way to play. So if we regain VWAP, then I have no issues jumping right back into this long, play that trend into the upside as long as it wants to hold. Got the eyeballs on Nvidia here in case it can, I feel like Nvidia is gonna shock some people if it can go green. So this level would be this is 948.5. So that's where Nvidia was when this Amazon thing kind of really accelerated to the downside. If it takes that top, I think I would just try the punch long. At that point, it would already be green on the day, so it's not a red to green. It's like green after the story would be the best way to put it. If that happens, then we'll jump into a breakout trade on Nvidia. Until then, I still feel like AMD can be worth it at the 165. Underneath VWAP, relatively weak. We didn't get that last wick up, but if Nvidia starts to press, I still like to short one more time in AMD. It's all about being able to get it. If you get it, you get it. If we hangs under VWAP, we'll short underneath VWAP. I hate to say this about Mara because I wanted to be long the stock. It's just not a long. Mara has now quadruple bottom, but all off of lower highs, and this is starting to look like it's getting a bit heavy and wants to pull back into that 21. So the breakout was yesterday off of 21. I think we might get to that 21 level, and I'll look short off of VWAP. If we're able to catch a long off 21, I said in the morning that's where I wanted to be on the bid at the open. If it gets there, I'll look for the dip buy on MARA. But until then, it looks like it's going to be a short day for Mara. We only had the one trade. I thought we would be more active in some of the crypto names, but it's hard for Mara to break out or take trend trades to the upside when stock is trending down. That's why we only have one long in it.
Yeah, the market's trying to hold out at the highs, which is a little bit of a problem now. So we're still flat on the day, basically down 0.11 there on the NASDAQ. I thought it would be much more of a bearish day. We looked at Micron down there at 125. We talked about that possible level for a break. It did do that in the pre-market and went all the way to 122. But at the end of the day, it's a nice run back up for Micron. This is looking like a great short if you can be patient and wait for that 129. But what everybody really is waiting for is what's for lunch. All right.
Pasta.
Yep. Yeah, today is not too bad. It is. You might have had some of these today. Maybe you didn't. But if you didn't have any of these today, then you are going to win for lunch because today's menu is chicken cordon bleu with mushroom rosé sauce, steamed rice, and broccoli. Sounds more like a dinner to me, but there it is right there.
That is definitely dinner food.
That is your lunch for today. So, all right, Uber's coming back in a little bit, which is good for us. And Money Talks, also good to see what's up with that USD.
Another more subdued day for the DXY here. We had a little bit of a move up yesterday, but today we're seeing a bit of a doji candle just hanging out around that 104.50, 104.60 area. Lots of Fed speak to talk about, though. This morning, we've already had Feds Barkin, Williams, Bostic, and Waller. Some interesting comments coming from Feds Waller here, saying that inflation expectations could fall after more positive data, and that similarly, the timing of rate cuts for the U.S. bank, like a lot of these other central banks, is going to be depending on data. However, this note, certainly worth noting, Feds Waller saying, quote, I just don't see rate hikes happening. It's kind of a little bit more confirmatory than Fed Chair Powell's comments in the similar vein, saying that he does not think the next move will be a hike. But interesting notes there. Nice look from the Fed. We do have some more Fed's comments coming out today. Fed's bar at 11:45. Then at 7 p.m. we get 3 Fed speakers: Fed's Collins, Mester, and Bostic. No big economic data today, but keep an eye on those Fed speakers, guys.
Yeah, we tweeted that out earlier. Get our watch list on tradertv.live with all the economic expectations for the day, what the numbers we're looking for, and who speaks and at what times. So you could definitely check that out on Trader TV Live's watch list for free. Go grab that watch list on tradertv.live. Also, a big shout out to our sponsor, Real Trading, as well. RealTrading.com. Join these guys and us every day. Unfortunately, unavailable in the United States, but I haven't refreshed this in a while. I don't think these numbers change, but 3 billion trades, 50+ market, 3,000 traders. Go find Real Trading right there, and you could be like Neil right here and trading on what is not a live screen, I do not think.
Not even. What's interesting is they wanted me to shoot that. It's like, okay, well, let's go to another desk because it will be like on the actual floor. I'm like, okay, fine, but like it's not my layout.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
At least I put up nicely. Yeah, you gotta have a little bit of fun. But speaking of real trading, Nvidia is real and it is spectacular. I mean, you can't seem to hold this stock down. It really does want to go green today. And of course, now that I'm saying this, what's going to happen next is it won't make this breakout. It won't go green. It'll pull back into VWAP because that's what happens when you stare at a stock trying to break out. It doesn't actually break. But with only 7 minutes to go, I feel maybe Nvidia is just waiting around for the professor and Adara. Like, we're not breaking for you guys. We're going to break for the professor. We'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, it goes, it goes. We like it. AMD close to 165 for one last reload. I did get wicked out underneath VWAP on Apple. I am back into it at that 192. So Apple dips into the previous close. We go long off that one. Now we go in long into VWAP in here to see if it can hold on to this. Advanced Micro Devices, I still say is a 165 short, but I need to let it get to 165. It just cannot seem to get right up there. And every time it's gone, we've had the short above 164.8, except for the last time. So my eyeballs are on Nvidia. If Nvidia is has already broken out and is continuing higher, I might pull the cord on shorting that level and just see what happens at 165. But for now, Nvidia is holding underneath 948. It's still red on the day, but just barely over for Nvidia. AMC, we're tracking that $5 potential breakout. It still could happen. Sorry, AMC.
Okay.
Still could happen, but it's a bit of a triple top in here if it does get through $5. So I do like that breakout, but until it gets to that price, I think you just got to be patient. I'd punch in and scalp 80% out in the first 15 cents, and then try to hold the rest for a bigger move. So Apple trying to bounce. If it gets to the quarters, we'll take some out and then see if we can't get back to the high of the day. Apple, Microsoft looking very, very strong. Oh, we didn't even talk about Tesla. Tesla's at VWAP as well, but not really bouncing all that strongly. Tesla's the other name that's strong. I keep talking about Apple like it's the only thing that's up today. No, Tesla's up a couple of points as well.
So we just kind of like very undercover here, just nailed Micron. It's not, we're only short at 18s here, but we did average it in right now. We were looking for a name that could potentially be weak in the chip space. And I've been talking about Micron all morning. I mean, we started this sort of at 8:30 when it had that move down, and I was kind of like, wow, like what's up with Micron? And there it is, all the way to downside 124. And then it just had a little bit of a jog up. So now we are now 20 cents in the money on Micron to the short. So this is a name that we'll watch. We'll see. Hopefully the futures fade, which they're trying to do. And that way your boy can make a little, ooh. What's up with that, Micron? All right. Okay. I'm down. Nice pullback in Micron. Like, what's up with that? That's a good trade right there. That's almost like rifling up the top of my leaderboard there. I was not expecting that. TQ's trying to fade out. I have so many fills here at 64. It's ridiculous. Look at the futures right now, not doing too much. I'm trying to take 15, 20 cents and then pick on poor Micron here, which is, that's strange how low that went. So we'll just punch out some more there. I was not expecting this kind of a move. We actually had decent position on for Micron right there. So I don't know, man. This stop was going to be 20 cents. Like my stop on this is actually 25s. So now you're all the way down. Let's go, Micron. Let's put some more bids at 79, see if we can get out of that one. All right, here we go, man. It's time. It's time. It's Vader time, if anybody remembers. Big Van Vader
big man
coming through. But right now, there goes TQQ. Hopefully, we can get into the downside right now and take some fills in and around the 50-period moving average, as, of course, we're still bouncing around. Micron, very surprising for that trade. So I'm really thankful to have put that one on. That was a little bit of a savior there with only 3 minutes left.
What is it? The timing couldn't be any more hilarious. Like, I put the offer at 89 on Intel. Like, I don't know. Like, we were talking about Intel couldn't get through VWAP, and I've been sitting there waiting. This is the high at 90. I just got filled at 89. So we'll see if this one wants to follow. All I think about here is the market keeps on breaking higher, and the stock won't get over VWAP, so it's relatively weak. It's got a 15-cent range, so we'll scalp some inside of that range. Nvidia is starting to roll over as well. So all of that strength in Nvidia.
Let's go Amazon.
And it is continuing to hold underneath that 98 level. AMD's not quite at 165, but if we're already starting to turn, I gotta have this one back on the radar. We're gonna have level 2 up. Once we're above the 3/4 mark, I'm looking for the curl and try and catch that wick top one more time on AMD. I know I said Mara was looking, oh my goodness, Mara already breaking down. I thought we were gonna get load. We're going to get something off of VWAP. It's still going to the downside. I feel like this is a short. at least into 21 even. We had one long trade, but this now looks like a short the pop situation on Mara, continuing to stair-step it in. So all that strength in some of the crypto names, not extending to Mara today. We had one good bounce play. Now it's just a VWAP short as far as I'm concerned. That said, AMD is going to be next here off this 165 as the market is retesting these highs. So let it get up in, put that wick top in. They're going to try and get it on the reverse. We're already into Intel. Apple's still holding VWAP, so that looks like it's going to be a long, ideally for the rest of the day. And if this market breaks out the top, I think Apple's going to be a hold into the afternoon.
So it is not Vader time, by the way. It went down, we got some more fills there at 64. Then I was like, okay, we're finally starting to break. We got as low as 96 there, or 18,735 or so. Obviously, no break lower. Womp womp. We're still going to wait. My stop is 25, so 64.25, which is basically this kind of high right there. That's 20s. So we'll give it a little bit more. We stopped out early there on the break of 64.05. We probably should have given it that little bit higher, but I don't think I made or lost any more money because we got out and then got back in and actually wound up getting a better price, which would allow me to get some out there. But still, red on TQs for now. If it comes back in, then hopefully a different story. We took a good advantage there. We only have now a little bit less than 20% left of Micron. That came out of nowhere. I was just talking about it and the thing dropped 30 cents. So we'll take a good advantage of that. Some of our outs there in the mid to low 80s. We talked about that, even some 70 fills there on Micron. So that was a good one. Uber's we took some hits there when it crossed, but back into the short, took some outs around the 50 period. Hopefully that will come into play. ETH, 37.70, not really doing too much. Bitcoin's actually going downside. We looked at that at 71.30. And then Tesla, I liked the short early, wrong and got out. I'm just reviewing some of the ideas that we had. Wrong and got out there, but 179.50 definite hold on a little bit of some green volume spikes there. Could have been identified as maybe a turn. But for right now, I think we're pretty chill. We'll wait for those cues to take it up on the upside. Other than that, maybe Microsoft, if you really want a long. Because Microsoft's all-time highs is right here, 430. So that could be a great break log. Basically that wick high, you need to take that out. If you do that, 430.50, then I think you go long here on Sir Softy.
Sir, when you're that strong, you deserve the sir. That's a heck of a lot better than the other reason to give people the sir, which I'm not a big fan of. Let's go back over to, I was on Tellurian here because I just had to remind myself. I put down on my iPad after last week discussing whether I was going to get into a swing on Tellurian.
Yeah.
I didn't do it, but I'm making a decision today because it's actually down 8%. I just wanted to see if there was a reason for it. But I know I'd said that last week, and I was like, maybe I'm going to get into this thing. I have not, but I am trying to make a decision. Intel just bounced off of VWAP. When I say bounced off of VWAP, back, wicked underneath. I'm getting some out in the bid in the low 80s, and then we're going to take some out at the low of the day. Still some strength over in Apple, but it's past 11 o'clock. We're going to get our salad for lunch at some point and then maybe enjoy some chicken cordon bleu. That's me trying to say it properly.
I like it, bro.
I probably won't get any actual
Rosé sauce?
I'm not a big rosé sauce fan.
I like rosé, but on chicken cordon bleu,
I don't know.
I don't know.
But I'm sure the Professor Nadera will have some chicken dinner winners, and maybe an Nvidia break finally happens for them on Learn to Trade. Go get them.
Yes, yes, yes. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That is your girl Adara, and I am Sharif. And we're going to actually do